Way back in episode 13 of the Geekdom101 podcast, I interviewed Bardock Obama, buddy of mine, content creator, Twitch streamer, and we had a really good conversation, tons of chemistry. It was a great time, and it was very well received. A lot of people saw a side of him that others had not seen, and you got to really explore the real human. So I had to bring him back. So this is episode 31. This was over 3 hours long with Bardock Obama. It was the last episode of 2019 of the podcast, and it was huge. Bardock Obama and I came back, and this is a really enjoyable episode. We talked about a ton of different topics like reality versus the internet. We talked about being homeless and rising out of it, trauma of being a youth. He told some incredible stories of when he used to live in New York. I mean, this was just a tremendous time. Bardock's a very well-spoken, highly intelligent person, and I don't think people really understand how smart he is. He's very smart, and and that's, you'd be surprised, man. He does like a comedy thing. He's a big dude, like he's over 6 feet tall. You look at him and you think, okay, well, he's just some big street guy. He's not. He's a very smart guy, although he did have some rough times when he was younger. He got out of it. And it's just a really good podcast from December 15th, 2019, over 3 hours. The return of Bardock Obama. I think you'll like it. Let's go. And welcome back to the Geekdom101 podcast. Joining me now, returning. He's been on the show before, and we didn't get to finish our conversation because there was a lot to talk about, but it's been a year since he's been a guest here. Please welcome back to the channel, streamer, social media king. There's a lot of names for this man, but he's back to talk more about his life. Bardock Obama's here, bro. What's up?
What's good, man? Thank you for having me again.
So the last time you were on, and for those who don't know, the archives are available on geekdom101.libsyn.com. We talked a lot about we talked about like how you were kind of growing your brand, and we just told a lot of funny stories and whatnot. But since then, a lot of stuff's happened to you, bro, in your career. You got the G Fuel gimmick going on, which was a big deal for you. Your brand has kind of grown. You had gotten, when we talked last time, you had some issues with Twitter suspending your older accounts. Your newest account is now blowing up as well. Obviously still doing very well on Instagram and Facebook. And I think we talked about a little bit when we started recording here. 2019's been a very good year for you, bro.
Yeah, it's been quite the unexpected, successful year for me, man.
For sure. I mean, we did Kamehacon back in April, and we had your panel there. It was like 700 people or something like that. I forget the number. It might have been more than that.
It was huge, man. It's crazy that you mentioned that. I was actually talking to somebody about that specifically. How on my Instagram, I archive different things from my travels. They're called highlights.
Right.
And we were talking about my highlights, and I showed the person the highlight. The first photo in the highlight is me showing off these Dragon Ball Adidas sneakers I had, and I captioned it, all right, on my way to my first panel, I'm expecting like 7 people to show up, which legitimately I wasn't expecting many people to show up. And it was a packed full house with more people coming in as I showed the audience, and it was a humbling experience.
For sure. I mean, when we first discussed bringing you in, I mean, I remember I talked to the owner about it, like literally after year one. It was like really like maybe a couple weeks after year one, or maybe about a month, because we agreed after year one we we're going to talk about year two, because we're just trying to decompose a bit and kind of just chill. But then for year two, I had decided to go a little bit more aggressive with our creators, and I was going to bring in Seth the Programmer and Bardock, and which is you, and I was telling them this would be a great opportunity for Kamehacon and for Bardock himself, and I told him to treat you really good and whatnot, because you were going to bring people, and you did. I mean, you essentially did it, and it's just a shame because I had booked Kamehacon 2 to be this amazing sort of WrestleMania type of show, because I had a lot of big hitters for that show. We negotiated. I mean, it was me who did it initially. We got you and Team 4 Star, And like when you have a con where it was like Team 4-Star, yourself, myself, our combined audiences is like millions, bro. Like, you know, millions and millions of people. So the show was supposed to be this huge thing, and it was big, but I feel like the controversy beforehand kind of hurt it because we had people dropping out and creators dropping out and, you know, that bullshit. It sucks for me because me being the organizer, I'm being very real with you right now in the audience. I had booked this awesome event, and I'm very thankful that you didn't drop out, bro. And trust me, I'm very thankful for that. So is the event because, bro, we had this WrestleMania card booked, and it was like we had 15 injuries. They weren't really injuries, but, you know, I'm using that terminology. Yeah. Hurt the entire show, I feel.
I remember. I remember I was streaming, and people were like, "Hey, man, are you still going to Kamehacon?" I'm like, "Yeah, why wouldn't I? Unless some health-related issue happened, I'm not one to bail on my community." You know, I would never do that. My community is first, and a lot of people were legitimately worried. And when I saw people worried, because there's one dude he came up to me at the end of the panel, and he told me that he flew all the way from Australia just to come to my panel and was leaving the next day in the morning.
That's crazy.
Like, imagine if I would have bailed on this guy.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't think, personally, I don't live with regrets, but that would have been my first actual legitimate regret.
This might get me in hot water, bro, but I really don't give a shit. I'm going to just shoot right now, bro. I was very upset when a lot of my friends dropped out. And even though I understood why, right? I understood the controversy. Some did it because they were genuinely afraid because we were getting threats from people all over the place, which wound up being stupid internet threats, bro. They're all a bunch of pussies on the internet making threats. They never do shit, bro. How many times have you been threatened? Nobody's ever done a fucking thing.
Oh, I've been threatened. I can't even remember how many times I've been threatened. And it's funny because you mentioned that, and when I had my first meet and greet at TwitchCon, story time, when I first had my very first meet and greet, actually it was my second meet and greet, but it was the first time I was really doing events and meet and greets. TwitchCon gave me my first TwitchCon meet and greet. This was 2017 in Long Beach, and this dude, I have the second longest line, which was fucking dope. And they had extended my meet and greet by half an hour because there were so many people. And
I think you told me this story, but I'm not sure if you said it on the air.
Well, but right down the line was, you know, former UFC champion Demetrius Johnson. And my line rivaled his, which was fucking crazy. And then he ended his meet and greet, and I see my line still there. And I felt like I was a shit at that moment, you know, but it was cool. And this dude comes up to me, right? He's like, "Yo, B, I'm a huge fan. I flew from Texas to meet you." And he was with his girl and this other dude that was there. And she's like, "Oh, I'm a fan too," and this and that. And I looked at him. I'm like, "You look really familiar, man." He goes, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, you look really familiar." Now, that year, 2017, January, I was trending on Facebook with 98,000 posts made about me because I got randomly unpublished on Facebook. And I was about to hit 1 million on Facebook. I remember
that bullshit.
Yeah, I got mass reported, and then there was people who were like kind of celebrating in these little hate groups. This dude,
I remember those groups.
Yeah, this dude, I remember specifically because when I looked at the trending tab, which anybody listening, never search up your name. Don't do it. Just don't do it. For mental reasons, just don't do it.
You search up your name, you're gonna. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so I went on Facebook because someone hits me up on Twitter and they're like, "Dog, you're trending." Literally, Bardock Obama is trending on Facebook. I'm like, "What?" That's the first time I ever trended for anything. And I'm like, "Oh shit!" I looked and I see all the people talking about it. A lot of people were like, luckily, most posts made in the trending were just people surprised or upset that I was gone. But then there was
weren't talking shit.
Yeah, but then there was like this couple loud vocal minorities that was talking about it, and this one dude, I remember he had like 300 comments. Like, how can I forget this? It was like 300 comments of my people in my community defending me and arguing with him and his friends, and this dude took a screenshot bragging that his report on my page went through. Who shows up to my meet and greet to say that he's a fan? This dude. So I
You
remember.
recognized him.
I recognized him immediately. And another reason why I recognized him is because he had white glasses that stood out, and he was wearing the same shirt in his profile picture. I will never forget that. And it hit me. It made me so upset because when I saw that post, the first thing that came to my mind was I would do anything to punch this dude in the motherfucking face for doing this, for bragging about it. You know what I mean? Which turns out, I found out why I got unpublished. It was because of a copyright issue, but it wasn't because of mass reports or anything. So I looked at the dude, and I'm like, hold on, man. 1 second. And I pulled out my phone, and I remembered I had a screenshot of the whole thread because someone sent it to me as well. They're like, oh, hey, dog, I just got blocked by this dude on Facebook because I said this, and he sent me a screenshot of it. And I remember I quote tweeted. This is back when I had my old Twitter account. And I pulled it up, and I had it saved. I'm like, this is you. And he got quiet. And I'm like, this is you. He's like, yeah, man. I'm like, why are you here? And his girl looked at him and then looked at me. She wasn't neither of us was expecting that. And I told him, I'm like, dude, you're here standing in front of me. You know, I'm not a violent person, but if this was around that time, I probably would have swung at you. To be honest, I probably would have. And he looked at me. He's like, would you listen to me if I explained? I'm like, sure. I give everybody the benefit of the doubt if it's reasonable. And he said, I only did it because all of my friends were hating on you, and I've been attacked just by being a fan of yours. So I did it because it was kind of a bandwagon thing to do.
Not a good excuse.
And I looked at him, I'm just like, what if this was my livelihood? Right? What if Facebook was paying my bills?
Right.
How would you feel that you contributed to that and celebrated that? And he looked at me and was like, I don't know what to say. I'm just really sorry, man. And I told him, I'm like, I forgive you, but dog, I'm a person too. I'm a person.
It's like you forgive him, but are you ever going to be friends with that guy? Probably not.
Never.
And
what's crazy is
I'm friends with you, bro.
I'm friends with people who used to talk shit about me now, and it's crazy because they turned out to be actual great people, and they feel the same way about me, and hopefully, but it's weird because it's something that really stood out to me because around this time, January, right? It's funny because we were actually kind of talking about this before the stream. My dad ended up getting sick and was in a coma in 2016. And in December, at the end of December of 2016, he was put on hospice. So I had took a huge hiatus from streaming in 2016. And in January 2017, right when I got unpublished on Facebook, I came back to streaming. And I was unpublished for only 3 days. I got my page back, but I took a whole month off on Facebook just so I can just stream, focus on streaming. And I told people, hey, follow me on Twitter. And then May of that year, I ended up getting suspended. But it was just crazy that happened at TwitchCon because this dude,
Of all the people,
you know, it's like I've gotten threats before. People were sending me Kamehacon threats. One dude was in the Facebook group saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go to this meet and greet and throw shit on him in front of everybody." And
he would have got his ass kicked by you. He would have got his ass kicked by security. He would have got his ass kicked by the cops. But hey, go for it.
But what's crazy is, I'm the type of person where I feel like I can talk to anyone and have some sort of a discourse with anyone about anything. No matter how angry I am, I'm always willing to have a discourse. But this dude was saying all these things. And then when Kamehacon literally started it, I was actually going to go and find him
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was actually.
I gotta tell you a story about that. But you finished yours. We're not that different. I've noticed that we aren't that different, bro.
I was literally, because this dude made so many posts about how he was going to do it. He like runs some Dragon Ball parody page. I'm not going to say, and it was just funny. And then Kamehacon day one happened. He deleted it all. Deleted all the posts. I don't know why. Wow. I don't know how he even looks. I was just gonna go and quote post it on Facebook and say, "Hey, I'm at Kamehacon. Where is this dude? Come to my meet and greet, please. Please approach me. I will love for someone." This isn't an invitation. Don't get me wrong, because I care more about the safety of other people. But like, at the same time, don't. You make these threats for some likes.
Brolic, bro. Yeah.
Like these people, they don't understand. And these things, they kind of burn bridges if they're looking to get into the professional side of the industry, and they don't realize that people are seeing these things. And content creators like me and you, we talk. And other people see this. They're not going to want to work with you. They're not going to give you time of day, because they're going to remember, hey, you were on Facebook literally making threats. And so I was gonna look for this guy, and I wasn't gonna go and hit him. Don't get me wrong. I was just gonna pull up the fucking post and tell him and invite him to my fucking panel, because I'm petty. But
no, it's not petty, bro. That's the survivalist mentality.
It was just crazy.
That's what it is.
And luckily, no one has been crazy enough to fulfill any sort of threats. And at the end of the day, at the end of the day, I'm never comfortable in any situation. I'm never 100% comfortable. I'm always on guard. I'm always aware of my surroundings. I never go to any convention or any party or any fucking event and feel 100% comfortable and safe. I'm always on my guard. And at the end of the day, I'm always relieved that no one is stupid enough, because it's not bravery. It's just stupid that anyone will go and try to attempt to do some shit. You know what I mean? Because what happens is, clout is a dangerous drug as it is, and I'm happy that I don't let it consume me like Brother Nature. But at the same time, there's people who don't have a social media following. They want that clout. They want to be that person that did something stupid.
It's called envy, brother, and it's real. If people always talk about haters or jealous, there's a difference between jealousy and envy is a very real thing. To your point.
It is. It's a huge, toxic, slow poison.
And they'll sit there and they'll say, well, you're just saying that because you have to say that. No, like, envy is real, because when you break down the psychology, and I've talked to 2 PhDs about this, about haters and people on the internet making threats, when you break down the actual motivation, when you dig down, it's envy, bro. Because there's no logical reason for one human being to dislike another one who they don't know. It makes no sense. Like, why would I hate, let's say, Justin Bieber, or let's say, I don't know, Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I'm just picking random celebrities, bro. Jake Gyllenhaal. Why would I hate these guys for any other reason than it's envy? That's the only reason, because I've never met them before.
And how I look at things is,
it's like, weird, man.
It's like a lot of people on social media, they go based off of what someone else said, because it's easier to go based on the he said, she said stuff than form your own interaction, form your own impression. And I think over the years, I'm happy that when it comes to social media, I'm in a way better place now than I was a couple years ago. But a lot of people, it was really easy for people to kind of like, oh yeah, he's an asshole. He said this thing to this person, but like, context matters. A lot of people don't
context does not matter on the internet, though, bro. Like, it should matter, but it never does. It never does.
But it's really easy to take a screenshot of a sentence out of a string of like 5 tweets in a thread and say, "Oh, look, he said this," and no one ever asks about the rest of the story.
No one ever asks, bro, ever. Or they just want to jump on a bandwagon, bro. It's the fascist PC patrol, people who like being mad at shit, bro. It's horrible.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect by any means, and I have said and done some stupid shit. But at the same time, it's a lot of people just don't formulate their own form of interaction. They don't formulate their own actual opinion based on their own experience because they choose not to have their own experience. I try not to kind of devalue other people's perception and opinions, but what I always try to do is say, you know what? Look, you have your reasons. I would never tell somebody if I hurt someone's feelings, I'm never going to tell them that they're wrong for feeling hurt because clearly they have their own reasons to do it. But what I always try to tell them is have some sort of understanding. I'm always willing to meet you in the middle if you're willing to take that initiative first step or take a step forward towards me. But there's people who just they don't want it and they will just argue and argue and argue until you just concede. And
so I don't even engage with them, bro. Don't even bother. You know?
That was just what was happening at that time. And so, yeah, and like when it comes to threats and stuff like that, I take them serious. Don't get me wrong.
Do you really?
I take them very serious.
I used to, and then I stopped. Real quick, I'll tell you something because it's interesting. It's something I've never told you this ever. Actually, I'm going to tell a story that nobody even knows. Like, only like 3 people know this story, bro. In fact, not even the Kamehacon owner knows this story. I'm going to tell you. I'm going to hit you with the exclusive right here on the show. So, well, first of all, but to your point, before we get to that, last September, not 3 months ago, but like 2018 September, I received 5 copyright strikes from Shueisha, and I actually was in danger of losing my channel. Now, my channel is my livelihood. It's how I make my money and how I pay my bills. And I remember when I started going publicly about it, saying, you know, I need help. I was trying to tell people to rally behind me to get YouTube to do something about it because they were giving me bullshit copyright strikes. There were people in Facebook groups who were celebrating the fact that I could have lost my channel. Now, I went, and by the way, the groups are some of the same ones that you know about, that have talked shit about you. And I'm going through the group just out of curiosity, and I'm realizing I don't know any of these people. Never met them before, never interacted with them before, to my knowledge. They might have had other screen names. And I'm just sitting here like, why would you wish for me? Like, why? Like, why? I'm literally close, and luckily I got out of it because I have an attorney, and I talked to YouTube, and we're good. We're good. Everything's good now, but I talked to Viz about it. I went through the whole fucking ladder for this shit, bro. But again, why? Why are you getting joy in me losing my livelihood? What have I ever done to anybody except make videos about Dragon Ball? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, right. What have I done to these people, bro, except make videos about Dragon Ball? And the only thing that makes sense is envy, because there's no other reason. There's no reason for you to hate somebody and want them to lose their livelihood, other than and get joy off of it, right? Other than the fact that you're an envious piece of shit, and that's it. Right. So it just kind of hit me like during that time, like, wow, like these are genuinely bad people, bro. Like, and they're so miserable with their lives. And I actually clowned a couple of them at one time on Twitter, which I do regret doing. I shouldn't have given publicity, but I exposed some of their Facebooks, and I was kind of making fun of them for working at Walmart. And the reason why, it's not because I have a problem with people who work at Walmart, because I have a very, very close friend of mine who works at Walmart. I'm not going to say who, they don't want me to say who it is, but he's a creator. And there's nothing wrong working at Walmart, dude. I would never... If you work, bro. But obviously you're unhappy with your life, because the only way you would take time to give your opinion about somebody who you don't know in a very maladaptive way is if you're unhappy with your life. You know, you might be in an abusive relationship. Who knows what's going on, but something is wrong, and you're taking it out on the wrong person. You know, so that happened. Now with Kamehacon... So this is a story I've never told publicly, right? Only like 4 people know this story. The owner of Kamehacon does not know this story. You don't know this story until now. So there was this guy on Twitter, right? Back in March, right? I was in Chicago visiting a friend, and drama breaks. There was this guy, and should I even say his name?
No,
I'm thinking about.
No. Don't worry about it.
I'm thinking about saying it because let me tell you why. Because he abandoned his Twitter. He doesn't tweet anymore. He's not a content creator. You don't know who this is, because I don't know who it is. He's just some troll on Twitter. And he basically was making threats, claiming that when he sees me in person at Kamehacon, he's going to whoop my ass. He told me, don't show up. He told me, when I see you there, me and my friends are going to fucking raise hell. And he would constantly fucking say this to me. I mean, like, I got the tweets, bro, because... what was going on during that time is because we had gotten these threats. And by the way, for those who don't know why we were getting these threats, It has nothing to do with me and Bardock and everything to do with some voice actor drama that we weren't even involved in. No. We weren't even in this drama, right? But people were dropping out of Kamehacon because of political reasons or fear reasons, because of assholes like this who were making threats. So this dude was making a threat, like legitimately. So the owner of Kamehacon, right, he was taking every single screenshot he could of all this. We actually have, or he has it, a document, right, with nothing but screenshots of people making threats. Because if we have to prosecute, right, we've got the screenshots. There's like a whole hard drive. I mean, it's not the entire drive, but they got a whole like list of people making threats. This dude was on that list. Mm-hmm. You know, and I told Slaytosh about it, the owner. I was like, you know, this guy's making some real fucking threats, bro. Like, he's getting real brolic. And the thing about me, bro, is I've never claimed to be a tough guy, but I grew up in a predominantly black and Hispanic high school because I am Hispanic, in the hood. I had to literally fight for respect. In some cases, physically fight for respect. And I got bullied, and I had to fight back. And I have a thing in my head, bro, where I'm not a street guy, but if you threaten me, bro, I don't take threats very well, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Threats is a very... In other words, bro, when someone threatens me, like, repeatedly, like, to inflict physical harm on me or my loved ones, my brain regresses back to being a caveman.
Yeah, it's always an initial instinct. I've learned not to be that way anymore.
No, I've learned too, but
it's gotten me in trouble. Yeah.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I haven't, trust me on this one, I have been able to control myself a lot. But with this guy, something about him, you know, they say, oh, triggered. Something about him actually triggered, like, events from my past of, like, me being bullied and threatened. So what happened was, I didn't know who he was, but he was claiming, I'm going to be at Kamehacon, blah, blah, blah. So day one, I show up, I'm wearing my fucking suit, which is $250, $300 fucking coat. It was expensive. Not like Dwayne The Rock Johnson expensive, but it was a nice suit. I'm dressed up really nicely. And I never told anybody this, bro. At that event, I told nobody, bro. Like, I didn't tell Maria. I didn't tell you. I didn't tell Tex. I didn't tell anybody who I was with, like any of my friends, like MJ. None of these people know this, right? Well, now they do, but only a handful of them know. Tex knows now. You don't know now. I'm going to tell you. So there was a time when I showed up at the event where I told my friends, yo, I'll be right back. Like, inside the building. And I went outside to the parking lot to where the fans were lining up to get in. And I literally was out there just to see if this guy would do something. Now, most people would say, don't do this, you're crazy, what if he's going to show up, there's no security out there. I didn't give a fuck. I wanted to legit see, and of course he didn't show up. After all the fucking threats he made, after all the fucking brolic talk he made about him and his friends, bro, I didn't even tell. This is how fucked up I am. This is how crazy I am, bro. I didn't even tell my friends. Because I was ready to go out there, bro, and straight up go. If he would have been out there with his friends, dog, it would have been me against all of them, bro. And I would have won that fight. Trust me, I would have won. I'm not kidding, bro. Hold on, I'll finish real quick. I went outside looking for him, looking to see if anybody would say something. I'm shaking hands, people in line. Like, I'm actually looking to see if anybody would try something. Mm-hmm. Because if that dude was there and said, yo, I'm so-and-so from Twitter, even if he didn't say a fucking word to me, bro, I would have said, you know what, pick a hand. You know what pick a hand is, right?
Yeah, get smacked with it.
I would have said pick a hand, left or right. And I would have straight up fucking paintbrushed him in front of all his friends and be like, do something now. I literally would have punked him out in front of his friends. I swear to God, dog, I would have punked him out in front of his friends. And he didn't show up. And again, that's a dumb thing to do, bro. It's a dumb mentality, but it's like, bro, this dude really wouldn't leave me alone, bro. The one thing when going into Kamehacon that I was trying to be conscious of was to not, and this is with any convention, I don't, like, if I get a death threat or anything, like, I actually, some dude said that he wanted to, like, I don't know, square up with me. I don't know if he was joking or not. And I told him, I'm like, dog, I'll fight anybody, just not at a convention or around people, because
I think it would be incredibly naive of me to
No,
antagonize.
it's a bad move, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not saying. Look, I am not saying that I was smart in this or good or yeah, it was a very selfish.
Well,
thing.
like I wouldn't want anybody to be in danger because if anybody that's seen me
right,
at conventions, besides Kamehacon was very low key, but in general, E3, Anime Expo, any of these conventions, I roll deep,
right.
And so I don't want
Me
anybody to like be in danger because what if someone gets crazy or brave and they bring a fucking gun? I'm strapped, but like I don't want someone to show up and fucking someone gets hurt because I'm antagonizing over tweets. That's why like generally now I've calmed down a lot, especially in like the last 2 years. Because,
no, I've chilled out a lot too, bro.
Yeah, because I feel like I don't know if I ever told you specifically about this story, but I actually got into a fist fight at a convention. I got into a fist fight in Anime Expo 2016. I was at a rooftop party. It was a big rooftop party, and I was with one of my ex friends. His name is Mark, and I gave him a Pornhub shirt, and he was wearing it at the party. And this dude comes up to Mark, and I'm there talking to this girl that I was dating at the time, and we were at the rooftop, and I see the dude just yelling at Mark. Mind you, Mark is like 5'8", and this dude was probably like 6'2", maybe, and he's kind of like hovering over him, just screaming at him. I couldn't hear what he was saying specifically, but people were kind of staring, and I'm like, yo, hold up, I'm gonna go see what's up. So I pushed Mark. I ain't pushed the dude. I pushed Mark to the side. I'm like, hey, yo, what's going on? He's like, oh, this dude's wearing a Pornhub shirt, and he's a piece of shit. He's at a party, and I've seen dudes wear Pornhub shirts as a way to lie to girls and drug them, and this and that.
What?
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
So,
that seems a little extreme.
So I told the dude, I'm like, look, you may have seen that happen before, but it's not him. That he's with me. Mind you, this dude knew who I was. I didn't know who he was, but he knew who I was. So, Living Ichigo, Theo, was right next to me. He was talking to some other girl that happened to be close by, and he tells the dude, he's like, yo, take a step back because he's going to hit you. And the dude, because I was about to hit him. If he would have gotten close, I was about to hit him. So the dude is like, no, I want to fight him. And he's pointing at Mark, the dude behind me. I'm like, no. That's not what we're about to do right now, dog. That's not what we're about to do. Relax, take a step back, and breathe. So he had like 2 other people. Right, and one of the dudes, his name is Clint. I will never forget. His name is Clint. Clint comes up and he's like, "Yo, B, he's a little drunk. It's his birthday. Just walk away, leave him alone." And I'm like, he needs to leave my boy alone. And the dude goes, "What are you gonna do? What the fuck are you gonna do? Hit me? Hit me?" So I hit him. I fucking swung at him, and Clint and this other dude, it was like this wrestling Mexican dude. He was kind of jacked. Jumps and like puts their hands on my chest and like pushes me back. The dude is on the floor. He like tumbles and like completely full body rolls back and like stays on the ground. And I tell them, yo, don't touch me. I told him, I was like, don't touch me because I'm gonna fight both of you too. So get your hands off my chest. And Clint was like, oh, he takes his hand off of me. But the other dude was like, no, I need you to chill. I'm like, I'm gonna tell you one last time. I'm gonna hit you if you don't take your hand off my chest. He didn't take his hand off my chest, so I swung at him too with my left hand.
Of course.
And he fell flat on his fucking face. And security came, and I just dipped. But this dude, turns out, and I'm going to tell you how I knew he knew me. So, the dude messages my Facebook page. I used to have my inbox enabled. He messages me literally the next day, and he's like, hey man, I want to find you, I want to talk to you, I want to apologize. I'm like, I don't respond to him. I click on his profile. He uploads a picture of his, like, half his face busted. I don't know if it's because he tumbled on the floor or probably because I rocked this shit. I don't know. But he uploads a picture on Facebook, and he says, I guess I got too drunk and I fell on the floor. LOL. Still a good night. That's what he put. He didn't say that he got into this fight or anything.
Oh, he tried to. Wow, bro. What a pussy.
Yeah.
At least fucking be man enough to fucking say, yeah, I got into a fight. I mean, dude, getting into a fight and losing the fight, it happens, bro. I mean,
Yeah, and he messages me and say that he wants to talk it out and apologize and this and that.
That's good.
And I didn't message him back. Don't apologize to me. Apologize to the dude. Because I jumped in because I saw the other dudes next to him, and I got flashbacks of when one of my friends got jumped by these Marines, and I had to jump in because one of them...
In New York. You told that story last time. Yeah, I think you told that story last time on the podcast.
When one of the dudes had a butterfly knife. And
that's right.
And I had to jump in. And, like, immediately I go into this mindset where it's like, now I gotta jump in. Usually it's none of my business. You know what I mean? If I see two people arguing, one of my friends, they're just arguing, it is what it is. But if I feel like it's about to get violent, some hands are about to be thrown, I'm gonna try to diffuse the situation. And if it doesn't, if I can't diffuse the situation, and the dude is still trying to get violent, all right, now we're fighting, and that's a whole different story. So I dipped, and that was the only time I actually got into a fight at a convention.
No, I mean, I never want to do it. I never want to get into a fight. It's not, you're right, it's a safety hazard. My thing was, when it comes to this guy, right, that I'm telling you about specifically, he threatened me, he made fun of me. What he did what happened to me in high school. See, what he said was he triggered me because he actually brought back flashbacks. He said I was 300 pounds, which I'm not. I'm closer to 200 pounds, actually. I'm not even close to 300 pounds. But I used to be when I was younger. And so when I was in high school, people would make fun of me because I was fat and whatnot. And then every time I got into a fight with one of them, they would lose the fight. And they would always say the same thing. You're fat, that means you're slow. Then all of a sudden, they're on the fucking ground. I guess I'm not slow. I guess I'm not as slow as you thought I was. And whenever somebody does that, right, first of all, don't ever make threats, dog, based on appearance, bro. Because there's people who look, quote, fat and out of shape, who will choke you out in 2 fucking seconds, bro. That's number one. Don't ever assume that. Same thing with women, bro. People think that women are weak. Dog, I know some girls that'll fucking fuck you up, bro, in seconds. Like, never assume. But this kid, you could tell he was a fucking punk-ass kid. Probably a teenager. Probably one of those fucking single mom motherfuckers, bro. Or, you know, the guys that are whiny, you know. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but these, you know, the type. And, you know, pampered motherfucker. And it just, it triggered me because it gave me flashbacks of me being in high school getting bullied and standing up for myself. And so that guy in particular, this stuff doesn't bother me anymore, bro, but with that guy it did, because when you start saying shit like, I'm going to show up to the event and fuck you up, I'm going to show up and you know, and he basically, he tried to get me to drop out of the event. That's why we even got on this topic to begin with, bro, which is you staying to do Kamehacon. He tried to get me to drop out of hosting. And nothing was going to get me to drop out of hosting, bro, because like you said, this goes all the way back to what you said a minute ago. This is why I'm even talking about this. Somebody paid a bunch of money to come from Australia to meet you. Mm-hmm. I had people from all kinds of places all over the country and the world say the same thing to me. I'm not going to drop out of a convention for them, bro. And either way, I wouldn't have anyways, but I mean for them. And I'm going to say some shit now that I might get in trouble for, but I'm going to keep it real. My friends that dropped out of Kamehacon too, I was very upset. And I wasn't mad at them. I was mad at them. Because I tried to explain to them, like, okay, security's up. Don't worry about it. The actor you don't like is going to be on the other side of the room, you know, whatever. You don't, and then they still fucking left. And it hurt, bro. Like, I'll be honest with you. I'm still not really entirely over it, because we had this great card booked and then it just went to shit completely. We had to rearrange the entire show because of contractual shit that had nothing to do with me, nothing to do with the creators or you or any of us. It was a totally different drama, and it bled into like us, and I was not going to drop out, and a lot of my friends did drop out, and I was kind of pissed, bro, because you're not fucking over that actor, you're not fucking over the convention, you're fucking over the people, dude. I don't give a fuck about how much money the convention makes, or that's not any of my business, bro, when it comes to this type of shit. The community's supposed to be coming to visit you. I don't care how small you think you are, bro. There's YouTubers out there, bro, 13,000 views, or subs, 10,000 subs. They still have an audience, bro, and people still came to see them. And so for them to drop out, I don't know, man, just especially like a month ahead of time, it just put me in a really awkward spot, bro. And a lot of them apologized to me, and they were like, yo, I'm sorry for putting you in the awkward spot. And it's like, I would never do this to you. Like, if the tables were turned, I would never do that to them. And you know, it just kind of like, I'm just kind of being real right now. And I shouldn't say this publicly, because this is going to go public, but I don't give a fuck, bro, because I got to let it out somehow. Like, I just felt like, even to this day, those people who dropped out, even though I'm cool with them, I don't know if I can ever trust them again, bro. Like, I don't know if I could ever book them at a convention ever again, because they dropped out. And I know they had valid reasons to, but at the same time, like, I didn't think it was that valid of a reason. And guess what? The event happened and there was not even a single problem, bro. Everybody got along.
It was fucking great, man. Like,
because, bro, the internet is not the real world. How many times have I talked about this, bro? The internet is not the real world. Even you, who's on it more than I am, you know, you stream all that shit. People don't really know you, bro. Like, they don't know what's really going on. They don't know what happens when you turn that stream off. They don't know what you're going through. I mean, you tell people a lot of times what you're going through, but you don't tell them everything. They don't know what issues you might be having. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like you said, like you told that guy, I'm a person, bro. Yes, I'm on the internet and I make money on the internet. I make bread on the internet, but I'm still a person, bro. And I think that people forget that we're people. And it's very, very immature, bro. You know?
It's and like the whole. That's why, like, I don't jump into all this drama and stuff, because as someone that's, unfortunately for many, it's influential. What I say will influence people. You know what I mean?
Right. For sure.
And that's something that I'm very conscious of. And when the whole thing happened, to be honest, I really didn't care, because if it has nothing to do with my community. It has nothing to do. If it has nothing to do with the people that, you know, I'm close with, then I'm gonna keep it moving, man. Like, it's not. Well, a lot of people don't realize with me, it's not about the money, it's not about the clout or anything, right? Because I have that already, and I've lost it. I've gained it back. It is what it is. Money,
right?
Money comes and goes. Community. If you have a community, big or small, and they ride for you, then you're good. You know what I mean? So in my opinion, I keep my community a priority because I owe it to them, because they were always there. When my dad passed away, the first thing I did within an hour of finding out, I went and streamed, and they were there. And you know what? It helped me a lot mentally to be able to stream. Excuse me. It helped me a lot to stream, because I was able to actually vent and speak about anything about it. And so I put my community first. A lot of people are like, "Oh, you're actually going to go to the con? How could you?" and this and that. And I'm like, it's fine. Like, it has nothing. Right. It has nothing to do with me, man. I'm not a Dragon Ball tuber. I'm not a voice actor. This is with them. And what a lot of people don't realize, they all got dirt. So I keep my hands.
I have dirt.
I just stepped away, dog. A lot of people don't know, and this is the first time everybody's gonna hear about this. I had every voice actor that I knew, people from Funimation, people from fucking Bang Zoom. I had people left and right, people from Toei just hitting me up. Hey, do you know about this? What do you know? I'm like, I'm out of it. Don't contact me.
Brother. We are two peas from the same pod. There are stories that I'm never gonna tell about stuff like that, bro. People don't know, bro. They don't know.
I had people on one side. Oh, yo, you should talk about this. I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, dog, it has nothing to do with me,
bro. Bardock, dog. And people who don't know are gonna know. Both sides of that little civil war were trying to get me to make videos on the other side, and I wouldn't do it because it's not. I don't care, bro. I have other things to worry about. It's not my battle. It's you know what I'm saying.
Yo,
it's not our battle.
When it first started trending, I didn't even click the trend. I immediately muted it. I knew right off the bat. I just muted it, and people were like, "Yo, how come you haven't said anything about it?" And I quote tweeted this. I was like, "Because I haven't muted it. I don't know what's going on, and I would rather keep it that way."
Yeah, well, yeah, and in my situation, I'm not gonna name any names, but I had very powerful people hit me up and say, "Hey, you should make a video about this and tell them this side of the story." And I said, "No, I'm not getting involved. I'm not."
Yeah, actually, someone I'll tell you who off stream, but
I'll tell you who off stream as well. Yeah.
Someone hit me up.
It might be the same person.
Wanted to meet at Kamehacon, right? Someone that's very high up in this industry wanted to meet me. I didn't meet with this person, but he wanted to meet me. He called my phone and was like, "Hey man, I really want to talk to you about what's going on. I need your help." Ask me for advice. For those who are listening and don't know, I actually worked in law before. So I
know exactly who it was.
I know,
we'll find out off the air, bro. But
yeah, I know a couple of things. And he wanted to ask me something, and I told him literally off on the phone, I can't do that. And he says, "Oh, you're not going to be at Kamehacon?" I'm like, "I am, but it has nothing to do with me." Don't you understand? The minute I get involved and I talk to you directly about it, that's me picking a side. I'm neutral. As a person, when you're neutral and you really just don't give a fuck, you're not liable. People can make up whatever they want. I am not liable. My hands are clean. And if I get involved in any side, And so I remember I went on stream and this dude was like, "Oh, you're not going to talk about it because Funimation's paying you." I'm like,
"Thank you." Yo, how many fucking people said that about me, bro? He doesn't want to ruin. No, hold on for just a second, bro. I'm pissed about that. He doesn't want to ruin his relationship with Funimation. I don't have a relationship with Funimation, dog. I have a couple of friends that work there and that's it. Like I've never once sponsored anything of theirs, bro.
Well, I used to be sponsored, but you know.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
that was a long time ago.
I was affiliated and sponsored with Funimation for years, but the dude comes into my stream and he's like, you don't want to talk about it because Funimation's paying you and you don't want to lose your sponsorship. I'm like, dog, I don't know if you know this, but I haven't done anything with Funimation since fucking February of 2016. I haven't done anything with them. And I told the dude, I was like, FYI, which I have the documents, FYI, my contract with Funimation expired January 1st of 2018. 2019. 2019.
I think it was 2018, bro.
2018.
Because we talked about it 2018.
Yeah. It expired 2018 January, I told him.
I have no affiliation with Funimation.
And I told him, I was like, they don't pay me anything. I don't lose or I don't gain anything if I went on stream and started talking shit about them. And I told him, I was like, have you seen me promote anything on Funimation? I told him, I was like, yo, search my tweets. I haven't promoted anything on Funimation since fucking February 2016.
I was the guy who told him that their 30th anniversary Dragon Ball Z set was trash. Like, how could I be in their pocket if I'm trashing their own fucking release?
And the dude goes,
I'm in nobody's pocket, bro.
And the dude says, "Oh shit, you're right." He literally concedes in the chat, and everybody's like spamming L's to him and shit, which is funny. But he concedes in the chat, and he goes, "So why aren't you talking about it?" So I looked at the camera. I'm like, "I'm gonna tell you this once and only once. I just don't give a fuck, man." That's why I don't have an opinion. It's
not our business.
I'm not educated on the situation because I'm muted. So therefore, I can't pick a side because I literally had no idea what the fuck was going on. And to this day, I haven't looked into it. I don't know what's going on. I don't know any of the sides, who was accusing what of what. Literally, I don't, because I muted it. Anybody that tried to talk, no one in my personal life, not you, not Dino, anyone informed me because everybody knew I didn't care. So no one chose to talk to me about it.
Well, we didn't even talk about it. I never talked to Dino or you about the shit. And you know, I was reading all the stuff and everything. I just never got involved because dude, like, and people would say shit like, "Oh, well, you don't want to get involved because you're worried about hurting your brand and shit." It's like, not really. It's more so the fact that I understand how human beings are, and it's he said, she said, bro. So if it's he said, she said, you know what I mean? It's like, it's not worth it, bro. And we had to deal with so many headaches over this shit, dude. Like, I respect people who are passionate about it, right? And if you're passionate about it, and you have a passion for this story or whatever, go for it. But that's never been me, bro. I've never cared about who sleeps with who or who's fucking who. Or I've never cared about that kind of shit, bro. And trust me, if you've been in this business for a while, you hear a lot of fucking stories, bro. I've heard a lot of stories throughout the years, bro, about a lot of different people who, you know what I'm saying? Like, people doing dirty shit. You and I talked about that one story about what happened to you in Vegas. We're not going to talk about it on the air, but, you know, in the company you had I think we talked about it last time without giving away the company. But there's a lot of dirty shit that goes on, but we don't know if it's true or not. Because I don't live in Texas, and neither do you. So I don't know what the fuck goes on. I don't care enough to. It's just, it pisses me off, bro, because I can't stand when people make these dumbass assumptions, bro. Oh, you don't want to ruin your Funimation clout. Like, I don't care, bro. I legit don't give a fuck about getting clout with Funimation. I've never cared about that.
And my partnership, what's crazy is my partnership with Funimation expired January 1st. They had invited me to the Broly premiere and wanted to talk about renegotiating, renewing it, and I never got back to them about it. I chose just to no longer talk about anime on the professional. I didn't want to work in the industry at all.
Right.
Because it's way more of a headache than people think.
It's way more drama than people understand. And one of the things that, I'm going to be real with you, dog. One of the things that I'm actually somewhat happy about this story, that I hate the story, bro, is that it actually shows, like, how dirty the business can be sometimes, you know, and how people aren't perfect. Like, you got to, dog, you people out there got to stop pedestaling celebrities, bro. Like, I don't care who it is, bro. Like, Bill Cosby, like, dog, these are people, too, and they fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Everybody fucks up. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody has dirt on them. So it's like, you know, bro, it's he said, she said. We don't even know what's true and what's not. So it's like, whatever. Like, you know, there's no point.
Like, I always... I'm
real shit, bro. I don't even watch the dub. You know this.
Dog, I haven't been even reading the fucking manga of Dragon Ball Super because I got so fucking, I guess, deflated from all the stupid drama that was going around from... You know, I'm watching from a far distance. You know,
right,
like I've reached a point where I rarely talk anime on Twitter. I keep my discussions on my stream, and everyone's welcome to come because I don't want to also create some sort of an echo chamber either. But,
right.
You know, on Twitter, what happens is there is no discourse whatsoever, and it's and what happens is you can say Twitter has reached the point where you could say you love dogs. And immediately somebody will jump in and be like, "Oh, so you hate cats?" Like
immediately. Bro. I'm so glad you're saying this, bro, because I always thought that you were because you've always been very pro social media, and I used to be as well. But after the past couple of years, bro, I've become very anti social media because I feel like these kids nowadays, bro, they get so caught up in this. Dog, it's not real. Yeah. None of that shit is real, dude. Yep. And guess what? Your opinion on the internet, unless you have actual clout, which guess what? Very few people do in this world, means nothing. It just doesn't mean anything, bro. It means something to you and to your friends, but not to the grand scheme of the world. If you come out there tomorrow, bro, dog, how many people have made Dragon Ball Super or is trash videos, and then the Broly movie comes out and makes fucking millions, bro? Billions, dude. Like, you're not gonna stop the machine, bro. Same thing with Star Wars. Look, I didn't like Last Jedi, but you think that this Rise of Skywalker movie coming out next week or whatever, it's gonna make millions, bro. Nobody can stop that. Like, so we can give our opinion and everything, but you're not gonna really affect anything. And if your opinion's negative all the damn time, like, I've always learned, bro, you know what I've learned? Like, not to butt into people's shit, not to fuck with people for no reason. I do it to my friends because they're my friends. But I mean, like, strangers, I don't ever get involved in their shit because, like, I'll go on Twitter, right? And I'll see somebody write some cringy shit where I'm, like, so close to hitting fucking send tweet and I don't do it because there's no point, bro. Yep. Like, there's a very big anime tuber, right? I'm not going to say who it is. It's not for Neverworld, because people are going to assume that's somebody else. I'm cool for Neverworld. And he says these really stupid things on Twitter constantly, right? But I know he's fucking with people, so I don't get involved. But people try to egg you on. Oh, man, you should shut him down. No, dude, I'm not. I'm not about that anymore, you know?
Yeah, and, you know, I've learned, I don't even have back and forth. Like, here and there, I'll get a little spicy. Don't get me wrong. But I've learned that at the end of the day, I can't waste my time with people who are committed to just arguing and disagreeing with me. Like, there's one thing where I can be like, part 6 of JoJo is my favorite. And you'll have someone say, oh, I like it, but part 7 is my favorite. Boom, we just had conversation.
That's fine.
You know,
nothing wrong with that.
But then I can say, oh, part 6 is my favorite. Somebody would be like, oh, part 6 is trash. It's trash. Why you like it? It's so stupid. And then they put me in a position where I feel like I need to explain and justify my fucking opinion.
You ain't gotta explain shit.
Yeah, like, I don't have to explain and justify it because at the end of the day, he just came into the conversation committed to not only disagreeing with me, but to hate on what I like. What sense and benefit do I get to explaining it? At the end of the day, he's going to go about his day and do it to someone else, and I'm going to keep enjoying what I enjoy. And so this is why, like, it's mostly like Twitter where I get this problem, because Facebook, I focus, because I focus on only my Facebook community now. I don't branch out anymore. But on Twitter, it's really hard to just focus on your community most of the time because it leaks out. You know, you go viral, someone from another community will see it, and then things got taken out of context. But what I learned is people come onto Twitter, and this might be the most realest shit people are going to hear. You have to be so fucking privileged in your life to be able to come on social media just to be angry about shit that has nothing to do with you. That, I want that privilege. I want to be able to have nothing going wrong in my life, to be able to go on Twitter and be mad about shit like who's saying this, who's cussing, who said this word, who said the N-word, who said a fucking homophobic slur.
Such a waste of time,
like,
bro.
dog, it's such a privilege to be able to wake up and say, you know what? I wonder what I'm angry about. Let me go on Twitter and see what I should be angry about. It's such a privilege. And what a lot of people don't realize is when you see these people just going off on Twitter mad about shit that has nothing to do with them, has nothing to do with their personal life, it has nothing to do with anybody. You know, it's just opinions. Like, imagine being mad.
And guess what? In the real world, it doesn't mean dick, bro. You want to know something, Bardock, bro? How many motherfuckers made videos about how Star Wars The Last Jedi, I'm using it as an example because I trash it all the time on here, is a fucking SJW propaganda woke. There's channels dedicated to this shit, right? In the real world, nobody gives a shit. They're gonna pay a ticket to go see a movie. They either like it or they don't like it. They don't care, bro. People don't care. It's this weird internet rage culture, bro. Like, most people don't give a fuck, bro. Like, I'm not saying that if you care, you're a bad person. I'm saying in the real world, you can sit there and spew all this fucking shit all you want to. It doesn't necessarily change anybody's mind of what they like, bro.
Yep.
But point blank, like, you just can't do it. You can't. You know, it's like it's a waste of time.
Right,
really
on fucking. It's funny you mentioned Star Wars. I recently got back. I recently got back into the books, and I'm reading the Legends, which are no longer canon for some stupid reason. But I've been reading the Legends, and this dude asked me who's my favorite top 5 Star Wars Jedi or Sith, and so I answered. And this dude was like, I mentioned Darth Bane and Revan, and this dude was like, why is it in your top 5? They're not even that strong. Oh, Vader stomps this guy. And I'm just like, bro, it's my favorite.
Yeah,
like,
right.
why are you so upset? Why are you so upset about my favorites? My favorites don't suddenly devalue what you like. If you feel like it does, that's your personal problem. You're giving me that power. I'm not seizing that power. You know what I mean? And this dude's just going off and just arguing. So I just blocked him. I was like, nope, you're out. That's it. You're benched. And I don't unblock. That's the thing about it. It's a very rare instance where I will unblock. But, like, I just straight up bench this guy. And I told him, I was like, yo, if you can't have some sort of conversation or discourse about opinions without getting toxic, I'm not going to talk to you. I have no reason to. You can't convince me to. You don't deserve it. You're not entitled to it. And so this dude was just going off and this and that. And you know what's crazy? That same day, this was last week. Actually it was earlier this week, and that same day I went and I streamed, and I was streaming Star Wars Battlefront, and we were just talking about Star Wars for like 4 hours. We were just talking about Star Wars, and everybody in the chat was just so fucking cool. And I said, yo, when people have an open mind in any fandom, whether it's even Dragon Ball, when people have an open mind and they're willing to have conversation, it is one of the most refreshing types and forms of conversation that you can have, because at the end of the day, we have that one commonality. We're a fucking fan of the same series. We just have different olive branches of opinions. But when you look at it, the ultimate commonality is we're a fucking fan of the series.
It gets real bad when they go after the people who work on the show. Like, you know what I mean? Or like the movie. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
yeah. They go after the actress that played Rose.
Yeah, it wasn't even her fault. Her character sucked, but that wasn't her fault. Like, yeah, they made her shut down her Instagram, bro. She shut it down.
I find it funny that John Boyega essentially called her a fucking pussy. He called her a coward, but let's be honest. He called her a fucking pussy for deactivating.
Yeah, but she's very emotional, and I get it, bro. But yeah, I see. Yeah,
I felt bad. I legitimately felt bad. But at
too.
the same time, what people don't understand is actors and actresses have to confirm their role. You get offered the script, you read the script, and you have to accept it. If you read the script,
but also,
and you say. You say, "Oh yeah, this is good. I accept the role," and it turns out the role isn't good. It's like when Scarlett Johansson accepts roles that she shouldn't roll, like playing a fucking. Imagine her playing a fucking blind paraplegic Asian woman or some shit. Why not just hire a fucking Asian woman that can play that role? You know what I mean?
That whole thing.
Like,
well, but the thing is also
just,
like but in her defense though, she probably wanted to do Star Wars. It was going to break her. It was going to make her career. So she may have chosen to do it not because of the script being good or bad, because it's Star Wars. You know, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like if they got me to play, yeah, that's what it's about. You know,
I would play. I'm gonna be honest. I would have been Rhodes too. Shit, I would have tried to kiss John Boyega for a couple of million.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. So I can't even blame her. But it is fucking toxic, and it's annoying, bro. Like for example, I use Dragon Ball. That's what I'm known for. There was a time, and I think you remember this, sometime last year when the Dragon Ball community was so, and this is before the controversy this year, but the fandom had become so fucking toxic, bro. So in the past, right, it was the dub fans that were the problem for a really long time because they were just assholes. But then sometime last year, bro, the elitist fucking sub fans, which I used to associate with, and some of them are still my friends. I would consider myself a purist, but I'm not an elitist. Where these people would actually bitch about Dragon Ball every single fucking day. Like, and some of them still do it, bro. Complaining about the dub or the art, and it was every day. And it's one of those things where normally it wouldn't matter, but when you're me and you're in the community and you're following these people or they're following you, you're reading their shit every single day, bitching about shit. Dog, I got to the point, I don't know if you remember this, but somebody was actually going after Viz for having Comic Sans as the font for the Yamcha manga. Do you remember that shit?
Briefly. I stay very detached from a lot of these things because it's fucking annoying to see. Even if I agree, it's fucking annoying.
It's
I think I saw something about that, and that alone I'm glad that I didn't see it at the time.
They were actually complaining about the font that Viz used. And I get, like, okay, you wish it was a different font. But to actually at the company or at the people who work on it. And then, like, even the lady who does the translations, Marlene, for Viz, right? The editor. She's the editor. She had to private her account, bro, for a little while there, for like a week, because she was getting shit over translations that had nothing to do with her, that were Japanese mandated translations. It's like, you know what? I'll give you a good example. And you know this to be true. You know how much influence Toei has over Funimation now. Yeah. Well, people think that Funimation are the ones that came up with Autonomous Ultra Instinct, and it wasn't, dog. It was Toei.
It was Toei.
And
Toei approves the dub.
It was, yeah, but this particular line, bro, Autonomous Ultra Instinct, was created by you-know-who, bro. Let's just call it She Who Shall Not Be Named. Yeah. You know who I'm talking about, right?
Very powerful woman in this industry.
Very powerful. Unfortunately,
and just to let the audience know, we're not going to say her name, but you know this. She tried to sleep with me at San Diego Kamehacon. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm not saying a word about that, bro. Yep. All I know
is the people who know us and who's friends with us. They know. Some of them were there, and it's fucking crazy how fucking powerful she is in this industry.
It's not just that, bro. There is and this is one thing read between the lines on this one. There is a lot of hypocrisy in the world. I think you know what I'm talking about, bro. Yeah. Now I'll tell you off the air.
No, there hypocrisy. There is. And
there are a lot of people who point the finger at certain people and who do the same shit that they do, bro. And that's another reason why I didn't want to get involved in the little split, because there was a lot of hypocrisy going on, bro.
And you mentioned like angry fans and stuff like that, but like the one thing that I feel like is a misconception, that opinions are fine, right? Feedback and criticism and all that's fine, and everybody should embrace them if they pick and choose what's valuable to them. Like, for example, if I'm streaming and let's say two people come to the stream. One person says, "Hey, man, you should do this about your video and make the quality better."
Right.
That's criticism to me. That's beneficial, and it shows that person cares about the well-being of my the quality of my content. But if someone comes in, they're like, "Your camera is shit." Okay.
Or they call you a liar, which I've been called.
It's
a
just
lot
like
lately.
people disguise hate as criticism and shit like that. But like
they cry when. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but then they bitch and moan when you call them out on it.
Yeah, but like my point is like, when you go out of your way to hate and attack people, it's not an opinion anymore. You're just being an asshole. Now, for example, I fucking hate the CW verse right now. What they're doing with the
Crisis.
Well, before Crisis, because I haven't seen Crisis, but like what they did with CW Flash, Arrow, and stuff like that. So I used to be a huge fan of CW Flash, and I was watching it every fucking week. I was there since day one. Premiere, everything, right? And over the time, I just had to get out of it. I couldn't do it. I felt like I was in the definition of insanity. I was just hoping it was getting better every season. It was getting worse and worse and worse. So I stopped watching it. Imagine if every day I went out of my way to attack people who still enjoy it. That's no longer me giving an opinion. I'm giving an opinion and being an asshole at that point. It's not valid. I'm devaluing my opinion at that point. Now, if I go on my page and someone asks me, "Hey, what do you think about the CW verse?" I'm like, "Oh, it's trash. I don't like it." That's my opinion, and that's that. But imagine if somebody tweets me, "Hey, man, I love the CW verse. What do you think?" And I'm like, "It's trash, and you're wrong for liking it." And I start quote tweeting all his tweets of him liking it. And I'm like, "Ha ha ha, you're stupid." And then I start name searching on Twitter to see who's talking good about it, just to attack him. Like, dog, people in this anime community literally randomly search anything positive being said about anime that they don't like. And what they do is they attack these people.
It's a very sad life, bro.
And they just sit there all day, bro. Yeah, and so like that's why
I wish I had that kind of time.
Yeah, I wish too, man. That's going back to what I was saying earlier. That's privilege at that point. And a lot of people don't realize you're such a you sit on the throne of privilege to be able to like do shit like this and be upset all day over nothing, because it's so fucking crazy. And I see people in the anime community who do shit like this. They would literally try to bait and antagonize fandoms. As of recently, people started doing that with JoJo, because JoJo has blown in popularity, and it's so well beloved now, and it has a cult following, one of the biggest cult following, and it does get toxic.
It has a good community too.
Yeah, it's starting to get a little iffy now with like any anime community, but what people started doing now is starting to pit anime against each other, saying, "Oh yeah, this is better than JoJo. Oh, JoJo's garbage. JoJo is trash," and this and that, because they're trying to bait people into getting mad. And when people clap back, they call them toxic. It's like, dog, you got what you were fishing for.
Right.
Imagine me going into...
They're such cowards, bro. It's such a cowardly behavior, bro.
You literally got what you were trying to buy. Like, imagine going to a fucking grocery store, and you find the exact apple that you want. You grab it.
It's like the sign says... The sign says, "Don't feed the bears." You fed the bear, and he fucking cut you.
It's crazy, dog. It's fucking crazy. And so the anime community has developed this weird sense. I'm gonna call it entitlement, where they want to be able to treat you like shit without repercussion.
Well, that's how it is on the internet. That's not the anime community. That's the entire internet.
It's in general too. Yeah.
Yeah, and in the political sphere, it's like this, and in several different sectors in the internet, bro. Like different discussion forums, like and I don't mean like actual forums. I mean like different parts of the internet. The political side, the anime fandom, the nerd fandom. It's all, and now they're bleeding into each other, bro. And that's the problem. Now everything's political now, and I can't even go see a movie. I can't even go see fucking Joker, and without having some dickhead tell me about how I'm going to get killed in the movie theater.
Yeah, somebody said that to me too. Like when I initially bought tickets to Joker premiere, this girl quote tweets me, I think she worked for BuzzFeed or Vice. I cannot remember. She quote tweets me and puts it and says, I should have clapped back, but I chose not to because I felt like I would be feeding what she wanted. And on top of that, she's not influential by any means. But she quote tweets me and says, I can't believe that people with large followings are trying to make it seem like it's safe and okay to go to the Joker premiere. I'm not. I can't handle incels.
And brother, my response is, I can't believe somebody would be so much of a coward to not go see a movie over something they heard on the internet.
Like, bro,
that's cowardly as fuck, bro.
I get it.
I can't live my life like that.
Like,
I cannot live my life in fear.
I get it
bro.
if you lived in like Aurora and you experienced like that shooting, but I think it was the Dark Knight or stuff like that. Like, I get it. Like, for example, for those who don't know, I was fucking like 2 or 3 blocks down the fucking street when 9/11 happened, and I was scared of like flying. That attributed to my anxiety
during that
flying.
time. Hell yeah.
In general, and mind you, I was in the 8th grade when this happened, and I was a kid. I didn't know what the fuck was happening. It felt like at first I thought they were filming a movie, and they weren't. And I was fucking cutting class too, and it's just crazy how that happened. And I have this fear of flying for a while, and ultimately, imagine if I chose to never fly again and chose to never travel and stuff like that.
Your career and your experiences would have been limited big time.
I would have not. Honestly,
don't ever cheat yourself out of an experience, dude.
Yeah, it's
don't
crazy.
Don't let fear ruin your experience, bro.
So there was people who just chose not to go see a Joker, and then when nothing happened, the media didn't get what they clearly wanted. You could tell the media literally wanted something with how they were baiting and how they were.
It was so annoying.
It was almost like they were begging, like they were hoping a shootout would happen, and because they didn't get it, the reviews start coming in on their side from the same people saying that it wasn't that good of a movie. The plot was too watered down and this and that.
Bro.
Yeah, it was my movie of the year, and so
yeah,
like it was just crazy. And then people who follow these media outlets and follow opinionated reviews and stuff like that, they cheated themselves out. And these are the same people who were saying, "Oh man, spoilers! I didn't get to see the movie." Well, fuck you then. That's not my problem.
Yeah.
You
that
chose.
Ain't my problem either.
Yeah, you chose to not go see it. Whose fault is that? Why I should limit my discourse with my community and enjoyment and being able to express my enjoyment on my platform too? No, that's not how that works. So it's this entitlement.
And that goes back to the threats, bro. That's why even though you got threatened and I got threatened, we're not about to fucking let those threats control our lives, because number one, there's a 99.9% chance that people ain't gonna do shit, because people talk all kinds of shit on the internet and never back it up, ever. They never back it up. Number two, why would I take the chance of missing out on an opportunity that could be a great fucking weekend or a great memory, bro? We're only on Earth for a limited amount of time, bro. That's one thing that we all have in common as people. No one lives forever, bro. And I don't want to sit here when I'm fucking 70 and be like, damn, I should have gone to Kamehacon 2. Damn, I should have hosted it. Brother, I went to Kamehacon 2 and I had literally 100 people at my birthday party, bro. Not 50, not 60, not 70, 100 people at the Korean barbecue place, including actors from Dragon Ball Z, like fucking the Ocean Dub and Nadolny and them, bro. I would never have had that experience if I let that clown fucking threaten me into staying at home, bro.
Fact.
And I want to say this real quick, and I'm not going to say who it is, because it'll really start up a war, but there's a dude in the Dragon Ball fandom. He's not relevant anymore, but he used to be a long time ago, and that might give it away, actually. And he was supposedly telling people behind the scenes that he doesn't respect anybody who stayed and did the convention because, oh, I don't like this actor because I heard this and that about the actor. And it's like, you're such a fucking piece of shit to say that, bro. Including his own friends, by the way, he would say that about, because some of his friends did the show. Like you just don't really even understand. They don't understand the importance of community, bro. They don't get it. Like, these people, dog. I had a dude tell me to my face that he was hooked on heroin and my videos got him off the heroin. I don't understand. Bardock, I cannot compute how a video about Dragon Ball got a person off of drugs. I don't get how. but somehow it did. I've had people tell me they have cancer and their videos made them feel better about themselves. Like, and that's not even my intention to even reach people like that, but it happened. So if I were to bail on my community like that after making a commitment, now if I didn't make a commitment, it's one thing, but I made the commitment and already did put all this work in. You know what I mean? Like, like I'm a bitch if I do that. I'm an asshole. I'm a fucking passive aggressive pussy if I do that shit, bro. Like the guy in question. I'm just saying, bro. Like, I just felt really betrayed by people, honestly. But at the same time, I'm still friends with them. Everything's cool. But the people talking shit, bro, who are never gonna say it publicly because they do, they get fucking annihilated. It's all behind the scenes, bro. And it's, you know what I'm saying? Like. Yep. Don't ever let fear take over your life, bro. Now, I wanted to ask you, I want to switch topics for a second, bro. The G Fuel thing. So you got that deal this year. How did that come about, bro? That's a pretty big deal for your brand. That's like a major, like, I feel like you leveled up like in an RPG when you got that deal.
I got the partnership and deal 2 years ago. And what happened was, I actually always wanted to be sponsored by them. Since 2014, I actually initially personally reached out to them, and they curved me completely. And they just stopped. They said that they were going to send me product, and they just disappeared on me. They curved me, you know. That was 2014. 2017, I was reached out to them, and we had the conversation. I was reached out by them. We had the conversation with my homie Tristan, and he told me, he was like, yo, if you want to get sponsored, I'll send you some product. You try it out, see if you like it. So they sent me a whole bunch of product. Some of it I didn't like, and the ones that I really liked, it was something that I actually started incorporating into my daily habits. And I started cutting down on coffee. For those who don't know, I used to be a huge coffee addict. I've been drinking coffee since I was 10, and it helped me cut back substantially. And I realized that it's a product that I actually was using. So 3 months after he had sent me product, literally 3 months, I was like, all right, after a couple of months of using the product, this is something that I actually use. And it's actually something that I can tell people that I use. And if they want to get a discount and try it, they can. And yeah, I'll make something for because it was an affiliate deal at first. So for those who don't know, an affiliate deal is different from a sponsorship. I am fully sponsored now, but then
way different.
Yeah,
actually.
A lot of
people like to group them together, don't they?
Yeah.
But what about when they say partnership? When it's just like, that's not a partnership, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a partnership is. I'm actually partnered with Verve. Like, I have I'm not gonna go into details, but I have a contract with them and everything. That's a partnership, and I've had that for 2 years.
So
doing a little ad is not a partnership.
Yeah. Exactly. So, like, for example, there's people who'll be like, I'm sponsored by G Fuel, and the only time they ever make money is they actually sell product. And what a lot of people don't know is G Fuel, my contract and pay with G Fuel is not dependent on how much product I sell. When I first started, I would have to like sell a lot of stuff, and even then, that wasn't even on my mind. And so when I initially realized that I have a really good relationship with G Fuel, everybody was really cool. I use a product. We talked about securing an actual sponsorship, and I signed an actual contract and long-term deal with them. So I signed a 2-year, then I extended it by 2 years. Now I have like 1 year left in my contract, and I'm about to extend it again. And so how basically that all happened was with me not even trying. I ain't forced it down people's throats or anything. You know, there's people who are constantly spamming G Fuel in the replies saying, oh, use my code and this and that. I didn't even need to try. What happened was I ended up changing my code from Save the Bees to Hive, and I actually started promoting it on my stream because people were like, oh, are you drinking G Fuel? I'm like, yep, this is the flavor of the stream. And people started using it. And then G Fuel started hooking me up to hook up my community by upping the discount, you know, stuff like that. So what ended up happening is I became one of the most used codes. The top codes were like PewDiePie, Keemstar, this other dude, I think that's part of a clan called TMS or TSM or some shit. I don't know. He just about to drop a flavor in a shaker, actually. And I started like climbing up the ranks quick. And I just stood in like the top 5 or number 6 and stuff like that. And G Fuel was like, we owe it to you to give you a good contract at this point. And they gave me a great contract, and, you know, they gave me a good deal, and they offered me my own shaker. It sold out in 3 hours, under 3 hours. It was actually the fastest selling shaker, right? And I'm the only influencer who was signed to them to ever trend on Twitter for announcing a shaker. The only person.
It was a big deal, bro.
Yeah, not even PewDiePie trended when he first announced that he got partnered with them and announced his shaker. And this dude was on billboard. Yo, G Fuel put him on billboards. They put him in the billboard in Times Square. They put him everywhere. He was ads all over Twitch, everywhere, dog. G Fuel barely pushed my shaker, and it sold out.
And it's crazy because I remember you showed it to me before it went public, and I was like kind of like surprised, like, what? I thought it was just going to be a piece of merchandise. That you were just putting out merch, right? That's you were, but I mean, it was a bigger deal because it's actually G Fuel. It's actually the company, you know what I mean? Not just you selling your own cups out of your house, which you could have done that, you know. It's just it was an actual like big deal, you know, at the time.
Yeah.
Still is a big deal, really.
Well, my contract is very strict. It's strict and not so strict. So, like, let's say if I posted a picture of me drinking coffee, that's fine. Like, if I had it in my cup, that's fine. You know, I can show that and stuff like that. But, like, let's say if I took a picture of a coffee that a company sent me, that's a violation of my contract.
Oh, dude, it's. I'll tell you one real quick. When I did a Dollar Shave Club ad, I was gonna use that clip from GT of Vegeta shaving, and I wasn't allowed to do it. Like, because there's certain like limitations, like, you know, because you know, like when you're doing a promo, like that type of shit, like you're not allowed to like show intellectual properties except for theirs during the promo. Yeah. And so they put weird limitations on it like that. Like, you know, I was talking to Viz about this when I had my copyright issues. And this was somewhat, it's not really known, but it's not really a big deal. If you ever work with Japan on anything, everything has to be approved to the office. So, like, Viz can't put out a single promo for any of their shit. Pokemon, Naruto, Dragon Ball, JoJo's, Sailor Moon. They can't put out a single fucking promo without Japan's approval, bro. It's that weird, like, you know,
I went
really
through that process.
Shit.
Yeah, I went through that process with Viz because they had me film an unboxing for JoJo. For those who don't know, me and Viz worked very closely to like help.
Viz is great, bro.
To help
Viz is great.
To not only help localize some of the manga, but to help expedite the localization, and the same thing for the anime. Like, I knew Golden Wind was gonna come out in an anime like 6 months ahead of time. I wish I could have talked about it. That shit would have been hyped. And then I tweeted a hint and went viral for it. But anyway, I went through the process of it, and they had approved it, and then they started using my unboxing and ads everywhere. Because Viz, they were showing marathon of JoJo every day for like a month. It was like JoJo month on Twitch, and everybody could watch it. And in between every other episode, they played a commercial or something like that. And you will see my unboxing on their Instagram and on Twitch. It was so fucking cool. And so I went through the process of it, and it took like a month before the actual video got approved. It went to like Japan, they watched it, they approved it. Apparently they fucking loved it, even though it's the most simplest bare bones video, but they fucking loved it.
Yeah, Japan's weird, man. They like weird shit. Yep. I love them.
Yeah, and it was interesting working with them and stuff like that.
But you had to wait for approval, like a week maybe, sometimes a couple days, you know. Yeah. But it's just funny because I've said this before, bro. Viz is just the best, bro. Viz is one of my favorite companies I've ever worked with because they're so fucking cool.
The people that work there now, because there's a whole bunch of new people now.
Well, we got one of our boys in there, bro. You know you saw who's working for them now, right?
Yeah.
I was happy, bro.
I put in a word to Viz to help him get hired months ago before he moved out here.
I would have done the same thing if he asked me to, bro.
Yeah, I was telling you, I'm so happy he got hired. But
I would have straight up asked Ryan, dog, you got to get this guy. You know Ryan, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I would have told him you got to get this guy.
So I'm happy how things played out. But yeah, that whole process was it was long, and I was worried because the longer it took, I was like, shit, they're gonna probably not even gonna use my video. They're not gonna use it. It's probably because I swore at one point of the video. I swore, and I'm like, they could just bleep it out. It's JoJo. Like, worse shit happens in JoJo,
right?
You know, than me saying, because I said in the promo video, I think I said this is cool as shit, It was like a limited edition Blu-ray, and I was showcasing it. I was like, "Yo, this is cool as shit." And Ryan actually was like, "I don't think we could use that." I'm like, "Come on, dude." I'm like, "What do you mean you can't use it?" He's like, "No, I don't think Japan's gonna like." I'm like, "Come on, man. Just show it to them." So he sent it to them and they approved it, even though it took like a month, a little over a month. But yeah.
Yeah, no, they're so great to work with. Now, you had said in the last show we did, which was actually December 4th of 2018, bro, it was literally a year ago, there was some stories you wanted to tell about some of the issues you had when you were younger. We never got to that. And I remember you told me afterward, you're like, yeah, I'll come back and tell that story. And then here we are now. We're an hour and a half into this thing, and we haven't even gotten into the real meat of the topic. We've just been talking about just the year 2019 and how funny it's been. But before we get into that, I was just going to ask you, what are you looking forward to in 2020, bro? And if you say Dragon Ball Super, it'll put a big smile on my face. But
look, I actually miss
know.
Dragon Ball Super, and I've been saying this for years, and you know this. I've been saying this for years. When Dragon Ball Super initially ended, I said, watch them bring it back spring 2020, just in time for the Olympics. And everybody's like, oh, why the Olympics? I was like, it just makes sense.
The Olympics. It makes sense.
Yeah, I don't have any inside information. I'm no longer industry in an anime. It was just something that I felt in my gut. And the reason why I said that is because it would be so fucking perfect and it would be hype as shit. Because I do miss Dragon Ball Super. I enjoyed it. It was heavily flawed, don't get me wrong, but I enjoyed it.
Of course.
I'm a
It was a fun time.
Yeah, I'm a Dragon Ball fan. It's not in my top 5. But what I'm looking forward to is hopefully Dragon Ball Super, anything happening Dragon Ball Super related. But aside from that, just...
But you know I didn't lie with what I said. You know I did not lie with what I reported.
With what? No. I wish a lot of people knew a lot of the back end stuff that happened. Because, yeah, I'm not going to say what happened, but I wish a lot of people would, not just knew, but like understood how some of these things happen. Because what a lot of people don't realize is these Japanese industries, they could be a little spiteful.
And they're weird, too.
They could be a little spiteful. And
a little racist.
But they could be a little spiteful. And what happened, a lot of things that transpired was as spite. And I wish I can divulge deeper into it, because...
Well, we really can't, because...
Toei told me not to talk about it. It's like transcends beyond... you and leaks and stuff like that, because I'm still on, like, I haven't spoken to Toei, but when we do speak, it's almost like we didn't speak, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I'm not part of the professional industry, and I also don't want to, like, tarnish it, but at the same time, because I'm not a professional in the industry, I feel like they haven't done me wrong, so for me to talk about it would be doing them wrong for no reason. I have nothing to gain from it. But
no, it's not even that. I mean, they did do me wrong, though, because I didn't lie.
And you know what's crazy? A lot of people don't realize, like, they've fucked over a lot of people. Some of it was, like, to make a statement. And I warned you, too, like, a long time ago. I'm like, yo, they do shit. They do shit, and they take their time doing shit. Because how Toei operates is, they like to sit back and observe. And they wait, and they let you do shit, and they just keep observing. Shueisha does the same thing too, and I remember we were talking about this like a year ago. I was like, they stay quiet, dude. And then when you least suspect it, you're either getting hit with copyrights, or you're getting hit with a cease and desist, or they're gonna email you. You get that dreaded Toei email, and so because it's them trying to intimidate. It's them being kind of spiteful.
Their culture's different than ours, bro.
Yeah,
They just don't.
It's just how
they don't understand creators, bro.
It's just how Japan works. They're a very passive form of people, but when they get, I guess, intimidating, they try to do it in a way to ensure that it doesn't happen again. You know what I mean? It's almost like they try to shake you, and when you're a content creator, you can't let these companies shake you, because what a lot of people don't realize is the industry is heavily dependent on social media now.
And we also have a lot of. Here's the thing: if I was targeted by Toei or any of these companies, it's going to be a public thing, and it won't look good on their end, and they know that. Like, one of the reasons why they haven't shut down Team 4-Star, and I don't care about this. I'll say this shit. It's because, and I know this for a fact, because they know that if they try to do it, they would get so much backlash from the fans that it would end up reflecting poorly on them. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So they're just, but they're very passive aggressive about it, and it's not really fair because even when you try to reach out to them and resolve it, sometimes they'll just ignore you. All right.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, looking back at everything, and how everything transpired, it's really shitty because at the end of the day, the people that got done dirty the most is the fans, and it really sucks. But at the same time, right? I was thinking about it, how it's not even like about backlash or anything, because what a lot of people also fail to realize is the Western portion of the fandom is so minimal in terms of their priority.
Absolutely.
We're like close to the bottom. It's only
Japan cares about Japan.
Yeah, it's only now that they're starting to warm up to the idea of the Western and trying to take us into more consideration. And even then, I'm still indifferent about how moving forward they're going to start treating the Westerners, because a lot of people, you know, they get mad at people like Funimation and stuff like that, and they don't realize that Funimation is in the palm of their hands, and they do everything that they're saying. Everything that Funimation has put out has been fucking approved. Funimation just, or any dubbing company, because Funimation is not the only one.
It wasn't always like this either. This is like a newer thing.
Yeah, I would say this is more so like since like 2009. Honestly,
since Kai, for sure. Because prior to that, they didn't give a shit. Now all of a sudden, leadership changes and they care now.
Well, like Funimation has a huge control aspect in terms of merch. Like they own the licensing of merchandise in North America,
right?
And I don't know if a lot of people know this, and so they have more control in distribution for merchandise, like shirts, Where It Goes, Hot Topic, Box Lunch, all these people, all these companies and stuff like that. But and Japan not necessarily vets that merchandise, but when it comes to like the dubbing and changes to the dub, Japan approves this. So if Funimation puts it out, chances are the dub, the Japanese company said it's okay,
right?
You know. And this is why, like, when I saw a whole bunch of people getting mad over, like, certain changes to the dub, like, I get it. It sucks that they made certain changes. Some of them didn't make sense. Just personal preference. I don't like Autonomous, Ultra Instinct. It makes sense why they call it that for what it is, but at the same time, it sounds a little weird. It doesn't really roll off the tongue. But it was their doing. And so seeing people just freaking out on Twitter, oh god, like there was a time where I just muted Dragon Ball Super for like 8 months straight, and I had completely forgot I had muted it up until I think Dragon Ball Broly came out, and then I unmuted it because, you know, I went and posted my thoughts about it because the movie was fucking fire, and the whole ambiance of it and everybody being so cool and chill was just dope. And then I like went and muted it right back in January when the movie officially came out, and people started seeing it, and then people were like criticizing the art style and criticizing art style Shintani and stuff like that. I'm just like, bro, like you don't have to like it, but now you're harassing people who like it. And then like the whole drama happened and all this, so I went and I muted it back. But the fuck, man, it's crazy. But anyway, going back to what I'm looking for in 2020,
yes,
part of it is hopefully Dragon Ball Super coming back. I am very confident that I will. I've been saying it for like 2 years now that 2020 is the sweet spot of its return, and more so like growing my community and where the direction that we're headed to. You know, I had a goal to be sponsored by a big PC brand in 2020. And I remember I tweeted this out like a month and a half ago around TwitchCon, and it literally, the deal happened 2 weeks after it. And I'm like, oh shit, I gotta set a new goal. And I wanted a goal for me to get my own flavor with G Fuel. And then like they randomly confirmed it on the stream without me having any prior knowledge or discussion about it. They're like, yeah, we're gonna give him a flavor. And I'm like, oh shit, dope. And then now we're in the discussion for that. So that's something to look forward to. And I'm looking forward to still not being verified on any social media platform like Instagram or Twitter. So
that's such bullshit, bro. I tried to get verified earlier this year from a guy who's deep in the business, and he pretty much told me that I would have to be that the reason why I didn't get verified is because I would have to be featured in written articles, and it's like, yeah, but I'm a content creator who makes videos. He's like, yeah, but you have to be featured in written articles, and it's like,
you know what.
Are they stuck 20 years ago, bro? Are we stuck in the 90s now?
They told me the same thing, and I replied with I'm gonna pull this up actually on my end because funny you mentioned that. They told me the same thing, and I replied with, let me see what I replied with.
You should have replied with nobody reads articles anymore, bro.
No, I replied with 12 different articles. That was in.
Yeah, I had like 4 or 5 as well, bro, but it wasn't
with 12.
It wasn't enough.
And I even replied with, when I trended on Twitter, how many tweets, the statistic behind the trend, because this is all public info. So like,
right,
it's just a couple of clicks and just takes a little commitment to dig on Google to look at analytics and statistics. But I sent them everything. I'm like, what more do you want from me? And then they at one point, so I don't know if you know this, but when I had my old Bardock Obama Twitter account, I was at the cusp of getting verified. All I needed to do was submit my government ID, right, and change my profile picture to a picture of me. So I did that. This was in May 2017, and I went to a convention in San Jose, and I think it's Memorial Day weekend that's in May, right?
Yeah.
It was Memorial Day weekend that I went out. The following Monday, I woke up and I was suspended. Mind you, Friday of that weekend, I had emailed them everything that they needed, the documents and everything, and they told me once they get it, I will be verified the next week, which is such BS because they could verify you almost instantly. And
yeah, they can.
Yeah, they can. Literally, if they approve your verification, you get verified immediately.
And they can take it away, like what happened to Pro Jared.
Yeah, they
just like that.
They could take it away. So it was completely weird, and I was going through a actual person who worked at Twitter. By the way, mind you, what I didn't know is the person had put in his 2 weeks and was trying to do this for me. And I somehow got caught in a suspension wave Monday. And because I was suspended prior, it's like a 3-strike policy before I think they changed it. They would not give me my account back. The only thing that they allowed me to do was make a new account. They literally said, "Oh, you could go on another account. It won't get suspended." And I'm just like, why not just give me my account back? And they're like, we can't do that. Once you hit the 3-strike policy, it's gone from their system. It no longer exists, and it's no longer retrievable, which is fucking wild. So I had lost my chance to get verified because the only dude that I knew left that week. Yup.
And they won't just pick up the work, and no, they won't do that.
They completely restructured how they do verification now, apparently, and they closed it off to the public.
It's a lot harder now, apparently. Yeah, it's a lot harder now.
It's all about. It's not only about who you know, but if they're willing to help you. That's it. It's only if they're willing to help you. If they like you enough, they will do it. Dog, they said the same thing to the homie Dino, Rhyme Style, that he needs articles and this and that. And mind you, the person who told him that handles verification.
I got told the same thing, and it's like,
yeah, and
what world do we live in now, bro?
And he has known this person for like 8 years. Imagine being friends with someone and they tell you, "Oh yeah, I can't help you out with this. You gotta do this," and has you jumping through hoops.
Was it corporate that did that? Like, is that what it was?
I don't know specifically at his end, but what happened with me was the same thing because I have figured out a loophole on how to get verified, and the loophole was you would have to be signed to an organization and be published, right?
Like a voice actor or something like that.
Or like you could join a professional team, like an actual professional team. So I was about to be signed as a contributor, actually, for a professional team, and I can't say who it is. I'll tell you after. And it conflicted because
you mean like a sports team?
Esports team. actually.
Esports, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha,
and it's actually one of the top esports teams. And I couldn't do it because of one of their sponsors that conflicts now with G Fuel. And I couldn't do it. And so what I did was I passed on that opportunity so I can continue working with G Fuel.
I mean, I would have probably done the same thing, but it's one of those things where the verification process, I mean, I feel like if you have other evidence of your social media presence, you shouldn't have to. It's so antiquated, I feel like. You know what I mean? Like, it's I feel like tenure matters. I feel like size matters, and I feel like who you are matters, bro, and they don't even care. There's people who are fucking verified, bro, who don't even do anything, bro. Don't even tweet. Like, like legit, bro. They don't even interact with anybody. Like, why are you even on here? Because they're famous, but they don't even do anything.
Well, you know what's one of the quickest ways to get verified now? You
gotta get like an agent.
No, you just get a job and contribute to either IGN or BuzzFeed because they're both in the Twitter office. And what they do is BuzzFeed and IGN, they literally go to the Twitter office or just send them a quick email and they get their people verified immediately.
Yeah, which is bullshit because IGN's trash. But
yeah, I know this girl who now contributes for IGN, and she got verified the same day. They went.
Jackie?
They got. I can't say her name, but
that's fine.
Yeah,
that's
she got verified immediately. And she had like moved to San Francisco and everything for it. And I know another dude. Oh, same thing with Vice too. Same thing with Vice. I know this other dude. He started working for Vice, and the same week he got verified, and then he quit Vice.
Did he lose verification?
No, he got to keep it.
That's man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what can you do? So I wanted to go back to the past here because I wanted to talk about some of the issues you had when you were younger, and I want to kind of give you the floor for that because you told me the story once, but I feel like the people out there might be inspired by this because you're doing pretty well right now, bro. Like you're doing good. You're self-employed or whatever, as am I, and but things weren't always great, bro. Things are not, and that's one thing that goes back to our original discussion earlier is when you told that guy I'm a person. Like everybody who you see on the internet or on TV or whatever, they're all people, bro, and they go through shit.
Yeah, thinking about it, it's crazy because you never really. I got into a discussion about this on stream where the homie Dino was doing an AMA on Reddit. And someone said along the lines that they want to do Dragon Ball content, but they don't do it because people like Dino got helped by Bandai and they can't compete.
I can't stand that, bro.
And I'm just like, dog, like, first of all, they don't even know, like, Dino's backstory. Like, I know his backstory. I'm not about to say it, but, like, they don't know the struggles that he has and stuff like that. And then...
it's public. I'm sorry, I'm interrupting you, but if you go to my channel, Geekdom101, I have an interview with Rhymestyle from 2015 where he talks about it. This is not even a secret anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like, it's still, if people want to learn, they could. Well, now they know they can.
Yeah, go check out the interview. His own words.
Yeah. But it's just crazy to say that someone who's worked hard and bust his ass to get to where he is, it not only didn't say that he didn't deserve it, but feels like it's his fault if they fail, if they try and fail. It's his fault,
bro, and that's loser mentality, bro.
Yeah, and I'm just like, and coincidentally, that same day, I was laying on my bed. I finally had nothing to do in the morning and afternoon, and I was staring at my closet because I keep my closet door open, and I see this old Samsung phone box, a Galaxy Note, the OG one, and I see the box there, and I keep it for sentimental reasons. It's the same phone I used to have that I first created my original Facebook page, same year that I ended up being homeless. And I used to run my phone using public Wi-Fi because my phone got cut off and I could afford to pay it, which ended up turning into debt. I ended up accumulating like $600, $700 owed to like T-Mobile, and my fucking bank account was overdrawn and stuff like that. But I went, and I remember spending a night in the IHOP, and I was using their free Wi-Fi to post shit and interact and continue the flow of content. And it's crazy because a lot of people don't realize I could have given up at that point, and I was struggling to find a job at that time, and I got kicked out, and it's just crazy because I got grouped in with the whole people like you make it hard for the little guy, and I'm just like, how?
Bro, motherfucker, I was the little guy, bro.
Yeah, I was just like,
they think that you're like The Rock or some shit or like like they think you're like Paris Hilton, who you were born into money, and that's just a crock of shit, bro. Like fuck you for that. Not you, bro, but I mean that's fucking loser. You're a loser, bro. You're a fucking loser. Anybody who sits there and says somebody else is the reason for my failure, you're a fucking loser, bro.
Yeah,
sorry, I'm very, very passionate about that, bro.
And I made a post on Twitter the other day, and I said that I don't see other content creators as competition, because I can only speak for myself. I don't see other content creators, YouTubers, Twitch streamers, whatever. I don't see them as competition, because what happens is when you start to see people as competition, it starts to affect you negatively, and it starts to hurt your mentality, your ability to make friends. It will make you fucking paranoid to be friends with people.
That happened to me for years in this fandom, bro.
Yeah, like,
I'm just getting over it now.
Like seeing someone do Dragon Ball content doesn't take food off your table. If people really fuck with you, they will still fuck with you. It just means they fuck with someone else at the same time. You know what I mean? And I clarified and I elaborated on stream. I further elaborated and said I don't see other people as competition, because it could lead me to not be myself. And the one thing that I always take pride in is my individuality. And this industry has become very soulless, where people start to sacrifice their individuality, their identity, just for a little bit of money, just for a little bit of income. It's like when people who don't shave, they got full beards, and they say, hey, I use, I don't know, like Dollar Shave Club. I've seen people promote it who look like they don't use the product. And I'm just like, I get it. You got paid $1,000 or maybe $500. I don't know, because they reached out to me too, and they offered me like $3,000, and I declined them. I was like, no, because I don't use your product. I told him straight up. I was like, I don't use generic. And I also said, but if you people who want to secure the bag, go ahead. But like, also, I had another company called Adam and Eve who reached out to me. Adam and Eve.
Oh, Adam and Eve, the
adult company,
sex toy.
Yeah. They emailed me not once, not twice, but 4 times. Keep upping the amount of money, saying, hey, where do you, on my channel, on my platform, do you see me ever even mention these people? Or I got
offered, bro, I got offered $8,000. $8,000 to promote e-cigs like a couple years ago, and I rejected it. And people have the balls to say sellout, this and that. Bro, if I was really a sellout, I would have done it. Same thing with Naruto Online. Naruto Online offered me like something like in the vicinity of like $7,000 or $8,000 to promote their MMORPG. Mm-hmm. But my subscribers know I've never seen Naruto all the way through. So I would be fake as fuck if I promoted it. And I'm not going to give up my credibility for a couple $1,000. That's a lot of money, bro. People are probably listening to this saying, man, you fucking idiot. I would love to have that kind of money. Yeah, yep. But it doesn't matter, because it would have hurt me big time. It would have hurt me in the long term, you know? Short-term pain, long-term gain, bro.
Well, anybody that actually follows me and is part of my community, especially my Discord, I always vet my community first before I tackle a sponsorship or anything. I always ask them, I was like, what do you guys think about this game? Should I do it? Should I secure the bag? If they'd be like, nah, don't do it, I won't do it. Because the integrity of my platform and my community matters more than me making a quick buck that I can probably spend within the week or within the month and then be right back to where I started. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I got offered to promote this game called Elysium or some shit, some battle royale game that the only people that ever played it that had an audience were people who got paid to do it. And I got offered $4,000 to just make one Instagram post. That's all I had to do.
That's pretty good, bro.
Yeah, that's all I had to do. So what I did was I went on stream. This is like literally it was like in front of like 600 people watching. I went on stream. And I asked, I was like, yo, have you guys heard about this game? Is it good? And people were like, no, it's okay. It's whatever. I was like, would you guys be okay if I promoted it? And then I went on Instagram and said the same thing. I was like, would you guys be okay if I made a post about it? And everybody said, yeah, go ahead, secure the bag. And even though they said yes, I still didn't feel right promoting it because I never played it. I never heard of it. So I didn't promote it. I missed out and I skipped out on $4,000. Would the $4,000 be fucking dope to have? Hell yeah. Would if it helped me?
Bro.
Hell yeah. But then, like, I also thought about it. I would be not only a sellout, because I feel like a sellout is someone who compromises his own integrity. I was always the person that only promoted the things I actually used.
Right.
You know, and that literally goes against everything that I have been preaching since day one, since I started June in 2012. And a lot of people, it's something that I always try to preach because I care more about the long run.
Short-term pain, long-term gain.
Yeah.
It's better than short-term gain, long-term pain.
Yeah, like the moment you are labeled a sellout, your credibility is immediately destroyed.
Right.
And some people can't come back from that. And I care more about my credibility and my community and the integrity of my community than some random company saying, hey, we'll pay you this amount of dollars to promote a product that I don't know if I can trust, I can't vouch for. And two, that would be me essentially lying to my community. Even if they say, oh, hey, it's okay to promote it. Imagine me saying, oh, this game is great. You should play it. You should download it. Just because a company told me to. And then if it turns out that it's not good, that's my credibility and my word that's completely shot. And I completely lied just for $4,000 at that point. And that's not right. So therefore, I had to skip out on that. And that's not the first time that's happened to me, where I got offered. I've been offered so much money that people would think I'm stupid not for taking it. But then they would realize that there's a lot of things that people don't realize about social media. Everything that I do is tactical. I played chess for a long part of my life, and how I handle everything.
I never knew that. I never knew you were a chess guy.
I have 3 championship trophies.
I never knew that. That's something about you that I've never even thought about, that you play chess.
Yeah, I have 3 championship trophies in the state of New York. I have 1 in first place and 2 in second place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never knew that about you, bro. See, we're finding out new things. But back to the homeless thing, because I was also homeless. Mm-hmm. Did you want to elaborate on that story? I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to. Obviously, it's your. It's your.
I'm very, to this day, I don't know how I managed to like rebound off of that, because shortly after that, in 2013, I managed to move out of New York. I moved to Wisconsin, but before that, you know, I was negative in the bank account. I thought I had nowhere to go, but it turns out I did. So what happened was, a lot of my friends realized that I wasn't signing on Xbox Live, and what became a week became like 3 weeks, and they're like, "Yo, maybe he's dead." They couldn't get in contact with me because my phone was cut off. So what happened was, one of my best friends was with my cousin. And he ended up hitting me up. I didn't have an iPhone. I had an Android, and you can't get Wi-Fi calls on Android. So on iPhone you can. At that time you couldn't get. I don't know if you can on Android now, but at that time you couldn't get Wi-Fi calls. So what happened is I had downloaded. What did I download? I think it was Facebook Messenger or something. I downloaded some sort of messenger, and he finally reached out to me. He's like, "Yo, dude, where you been? Where you been?" And blah blah blah. And it worked on Wi-Fi, and I got back. I'm like, I've been homeless, dude. I like didn't want to reach out to anybody. I didn't want to just show up to anyone's door and say anything. Like, my pride was completely destroyed, you know. And he was like, no, come stay with us. And apparently his mom was like sick and worried about me because they've known me for so long. And I went, and I actually didn't have even any money to take the train. I was walking everywhere in New York, and it was like
pain in the ass.
Yeah, it was like rain and sleet at that time because it was close to winter. So it was like raining a lot. And New York weather is very inconsistent. Like 1 week it could be 80 degrees around that time. It could be 80 degrees shorts weather, and the next day it could snow. Like, it's happened dozens of times. And so I was walking everywhere, and I was like, he lives in Queens, and I was in the lower part of Manhattan at that time. I'm like, I'll figure out how to get there. So I actually sold a ring that I had. I went and I pawned it, and I went and I bought a fucking Metro card, which is, I don't know if you've been in New York, but a Metro card is just a public transportation card that you use and stuff.
Yeah, I went to New York and I remember the Metro card for the subways.
I bought a Metro card and I went and they let me stay for a couple weeks up until my parents let me move back in. And it was a very difficult time. Like I couldn't sleep. You know, I just felt so uncomfortable being in that situation because I was never a dependent person. Like, for those who don't know, I've been taking care of my mom since I was 13. I was working since I was 13. I was financially taking care of her along with my stepdad. My stepdad was helping until he got very sick and he couldn't work anymore. He had to go on disability. And so it reached a point where all of my paychecks was going to my parents. I couldn't really sustain myself, and I was so scared to move out because I was worried that they wouldn't be able to survive. I was like legitimately fearful that if I moved out, they would end up sick or homeless, and I wouldn't be able to take care of them. So I just, like, as an adult, continued living with my parents. And
there's nothing wrong with that if you have to do it, bro.
Well, no, I get it. I was paying for rent and stuff, but like all my pride was gone. And I was also taking care of my niece, and luckily my niece was living with my parents once I got kicked out. But I couldn't. I wasn't in contact with my sister. My sister and I were not on good terms at that time, so I couldn't live with her. And I ended up leaving my best friends to go stay with my cousin. I was staying with my cousin for a while. And I ended up going back home, and it was even a worse situation because my mom was incredibly abusive. Like, it's my mom. I'm not going to hit her back or yell back. You know, I just took everything and just hoped it would get better the next day. And it didn't get better. It got worse. This was in 2012, and then it went into 2013. Ended up getting a job in the field that I wanted to, and, like, I still couldn't, like, sustain. I was still in debt. I was getting more and more into debt. I was trying to pay it. I couldn't do it. It took me up until 2017 to fully pay off my debt, and I'm very fortunate I was able to. Like, a lot of people don't realize I didn't become successful up until, like, almost 3 years ago. Up until then, like, I've been working my ass
You're just
off.
working, yeah.
I was working
regular.
At one point, I was working for like a couple of months. I was just working like 70 to 80 hours a week. And then I remember when I was in college, I was going to college full time, and I was working 2 jobs as well. One of them was part time and one of them was full time. I was picking up the other job every weekend, every fucking day. I was either working or going to school, and I was gone for like 18 hours a day. And I was barely sleeping. Like, I was legitimately, and then before that, you know, I was taking antidepressants and shit, and that, like, turned me into a fucking zombie. I was almost, like, in an autonomous state, you know what I mean? I was just going through everything.
Autonomous ultra instinct, bro.
Dog, I was literally going in, I was handling everything in, like, a weird autopilot, you know? Because there's a good portion of my life that it feels all blacked out. Because I went into this... There's a good portion of my life that I cannot remember for like a whole year.
Yeah, no, I've heard that, and I have something similar but not identical to that. When you just don't remember shit, it's weird. It's like you compartmentalize it, but it's the drugs, but it's also your own brain.
Yeah, you know? There was a part of my life where I had like dropped out of school, and I dropped out for like a year, and I disappeared on everyone for a year. My girlfriend at the time couldn't get a hold of me. I completely vanished. A lot of people thought I had died. But for that whole year, I could barely remember things. My depression got so bad, I actually became vegetarian because I couldn't eat. And the only thing that I was able to like actually digest and swallow was just like bread, rice, and vegetables, you know what I mean? And fruit. I could not eat. I stopped eating pork a long time ago. I couldn't eat beef. I couldn't eat chicken. At the time, I wasn't allergic to fish, and I couldn't even eat that. I couldn't eat tuna, nothing. And I became...
So what did you eat?
Just rice, beans, fruit, veggies, every single day.
Well, some of that's healthy.
And I remember
right.
I got into like this very lean, almost unhealthy physique. I had dropped from like 240 pounds to like barely 200 pounds. And like I even had like abs. It was crazy, but it wasn't healthy. And
it wasn't the good kind of abs. It was the I need food kind of abs.
I was borderline looking like I was starving because I was in such a caloric deficit that it was bad. Like, mind you, now I'm 280 pounds. I have muscle, and I consume like 3,000 calories daily, effortlessly. You know, it's just how I eat. Then I was consuming probably like 600 calories, 700 calories, barely. I was just so
Right.
I was not eating. I was taking all kinds of antidepressants. I was like cycling between antidepressants. I was cycling. I was stealing.
Wait, did you buy them on the streets or did you buy them from a doctor?
Well, I got prescribed antidepressants.
Okay.
I was on antidepressants at 17, and I was on antidepressants.
That's bad, bro. That fucks with your brain.
Yeah, I was on antidepressants from 17 years old to I was 22, and I was like starting to develop some sort of a painkiller addiction, which my mom has, and I was starting to like adapt to a bad habits, and it reached the point where I was stealing Vicodin from her. I was stealing Vicodin from her, and I was stealing Percocets, Vicodin, and Ambien. And what I was doing, I'm not proud of it, but it's, you know, I'm a vulnerable person, so I speak about it because I hope it helps somebody. But for a long time, I was just chugging it, and it wasn't like I was full on trying to commit suicide, but like subconsciously, I didn't care if it happened.
Right. No, you're right. I went through something very similar actually last year. I'm not going to go into it, but not because it's your story. But I mean, it's not that you want to commit suicide. It's that you're at the point where if it happens, fuck it, I have nothing to live for. Yeah. Right. I went through something like that last year. I had to go to counseling for it. So I've been there, bro. But continue. That's fucked up and crazy, but it happens, dude. And people don't know. People never see that side, bro. They never see it. They don't see it.
And one of the doctors told me when he first prescribed to me Cymbalta, I think it's what it's called.
Malta, bro, the drink that Hispanics drink?
No, it's called Cymbalta.
Oh, Cymbalta. I think you said Malta, bro.
I think it's spelled Cymbalta, if I'm not mistaken. That was the first prescription that I got. And they told me that it was super effective, but he told me I had to stick to it. He was like, don't worry, there's not a lot of withdrawal symptoms if you get off of it and stuff like that. What ended up happening is my body didn't adapt to it because something happened, and I was getting like crazy fucking. It made things worse, like way fucking worse. I don't know why I reacted that way. So then he switched me off to Prozac. Ended up switching me to Prozac, and then Lexapro, which Lexapro did help, but the first Prozac kind of helped. But the first one did not help, and I don't know why it affected me so negatively. And what happened was it made me more depressed. And what happened is I started oversleeping to the point where I was skipping days. I was oversleeping by days. I remember there was a point where I fell asleep on a Monday fucking afternoon, and I woke up a Wednesday evening.
You would forget the entire day.
Like, I was just sleeping.
Or would you literally be asleep?
Yeah,
literally. You talk about the
was,
depression. You talk about the depression sleep.
Yeah,
right?
I was literally sleeping a whole day without waking up in between. And my mom didn't really care, so she didn't check up on me. But that was happening, which is why for a good portion I couldn't remember.
That happened to me last year.
I couldn't remember a good portion of like certain events of that year because I either slept for days or slept for longer than a day, or I was just in like this autonomous state. And so what happened was I remember like if it was yesterday, I remember, and it like really affected my short-term memory, and like starting as of like a couple years ago, I started regaining a good portion of my memory back. And fun fact, what a lot of people don't know is I actually forgot how to write at one point.
That's a mind fuck. That happened to Eminem too. I think he forgot how to rap for like years.
I forgot how to write. I forgot
drugs, bro.
I forgot how to hold a pen and how to hold a pencil, and it was really weird. It just didn't feel right, and like it was fucking with my mind. I was like, maybe I'm left-handed. Like, and I tried writing with my left hand. I couldn't do it, which it was so fucking weird. And I went to
which hand did you beat your meat with, bro?
Both.
Oh, okay, there you go. That's how you find out, bro.
With both.
So you went to the doctor.
So I went to a doctor, and he was telling me, I had to go to a doctor anyway because I developed some sort of a lung disorder at the time, and he told me, he was like, "Oh, we got to do a CAT scan." And
I've had a few of those in my day.
And I did the first CAT scan and I had a huge panic attack that I started punching the inside of the CAT scan.
In while you were doing it? Damn.
Well, yeah, because I'm claustrophobic. So
okay,
yeah, I started punching the inside of the CAT scan. I started freaking out, and I started screaming to let me out. And they took me out because there was like this loud thumping sound. And he warned me. To his defense, he warned me that was gonna happen. He was like, "Don't panic." I fucking panicked when it happened. And I calmed down. I did it, and we did the CAT scan again. And he told me, he was like, "Yeah, it's affecting you. You have to get off the medication." He told me, he was like, "There's just something that it's affecting me negatively," and he's like, "You have to get off of it now."
Well, I just want to step in for a second. One thing I was told by my doctor, and I have a really good doctor. I have a doctor, bro, she's like 55 and she looks 25. When you have a doctor like this, bro, you gotta trust them. You know, she's very pro marijuana, medical marijuana for anxiety. You know, she's one of those. She's not a regular doctor. She's like a health doctor. She's very anti meat. You know, very pro vegetables and all this shit. Very smart doctor. She told me straight up, she's like, "Look, as much as I'm pro marijuana, there have been studies done to where if you start taking meds, not just marijuana, but I mean like painkillers and depression pills before the age of 25, it could actually affect you worse because your brain is still developing until you're 25 years old." I didn't even know that. So she's telling me like, "Look, medical marijuana, most doctors are not even going to approve you unless you're over 25. Now, if it becomes legal, it becomes legal, but that's why, because apparently, from what she said, right, like your brain is still developing, so if you do anything to your brain during those years, like, you know, you said you were 17 when some of this shit was going down. Yeah. Like, it could, I mean, obviously you're okay now, but it fucks with you more than it would if you were older.
Absolutely. You know and you know, at that time, I was like really doing martial arts and stuff like that. And
that helps.
Yeah, I was doing martial arts, and then around the time when I was on antidepressants, I actually tore my ACL, which was like, anybody that's ever tore ACL or gotten an injury as serious, it's mentally fucking draining. Because I was in bed for months. I couldn't go to work. Right. I couldn't do anything. I had to quit my job because they wouldn't give me medical leave, and it was fucking crazy. I got even worse, even more depressed because I just felt useless, you know. And it was just weird, like how all of this happened, and I wanted to give up. Don't get me wrong, I wanted to give up, and that's when I really started taking pills. You know, I was taking. I told my mom, especially since I got prescribed shit, which eventually the doctor like had to stop prescribing shit because I kept on asking for more and more, and they started realizing I was developing an addiction. So I told my mom, and my sister used to work at the clinic. My mom would tell my sister to contact her doctor and help her get pills, and she was kind of like giving it to me. I didn't have to steal them anymore. So when I saw that my mom was okay with giving me pills, I was like, "Mom, I need a Percocet. I need a Percocet." But started off with half a Percocet. She was giving me 2, 3, and I was just chugging them with Ambien.
Bro, that's why you slept.
Yeah.
Because when I take perks, dog, for pain, I'm out for 16 hours, dog. Yeah. I'm out. And let me tell you something. And I'm not advocating this. It's good sleep, bro. Because you wake up energized. You're like, what the fuck just happened? Yeah.
Not for me. What happened?
Not for you. Yeah. It affects people differently. Yeah.
So what happened to me is I will wake up and I will be like, I felt so heavy in my bed. Like I couldn't get up. And my mindset was, oh, you're still tired. Just go back to sleep. And I'll go back to sleep, and I'll wake up, and I feel like this sinking feeling in my bed, and my body will keep on saying, "Oh, you're still tired. Just go back to sleep." It was like a rinse repeat.
Right. Yes.
And the turning point for me was one day I overslept, and I got up, and I smelled really bad because I ain't showered. I just smelled awful, and I ain't washed the sheets or anything. And I just got up. This was after my knee has healed, thankfully. And I got up, I went and I took a shower. It was like, I don't know, it was like 10 o'clock in the at night, 11 o'clock, I can't remember. But what I do remember was I took a shower and I went into my mom's room and I went to a drawer, little me again, grabbed a handful of, this time, Vicodin. I grabbed a whole bunch of Vicodin. I grabbed a whole bunch of...
Yeah, see, that Vicodin gives me a stomach ache, bro.
Yeah, I grabbed a whole bunch of Vicodin. I grabbed a whole bunch of Ambien because I was like, I gotta go back to sleep because I felt actually awake, but I felt so sick and I didn't feel well. I was like, I need to chug all of this to put myself asleep. And I remember I went to the kitchen. I grabbed my gallon of water. And I went into my bedroom and I turned on the TV. And what I used to do is I used to let the TV play in the background because I don't like total silence. It actually gives me anxiety. So, like now, even as an adult, 31 years old, I have a fan or a filter in the background just so I can hear some sort of white noise because I can't sleep in silence. And so at that time, I used to just let the TV play. And I put on Comedy Central and they had the Chappelle Show. And like a little marathon going. I don't know how long the marathon was, but I just was watching it. I was watching Dave Chappelle, and I completely forgot that I was about to take some pills. And as soon as I know it, the sun was coming up. I was like, you know, I feel good. All right, I'm not gonna go back to sleep. So I took all the stuff that I had and I put it inside like a little balloon, and I just left it on my bed so I don't lose it. And I left it. And I got up, took another shower, and I went out for a walk. It was for some reason, this one day after all the rain and all the shitty weather that I had, this day, it was so nice that I went outside in a tank top and shorts, and the sun just felt so nice. I felt like Superman. Being reinvigorated and brought back to life.
Reinvigorated.
Yeah, I went out for a walk. I walked. I lived in Harlem, and I walked all the way down to the Lower East Side. For those who don't know, that's about like a 6-7 hour walk. And I just walked and walked and walked. I went window shopping, sightseeing, and time flew by. And then my mom called me, and she's like, "Oh, when are you coming back home?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm on my way." And I went and I took the train to a certain part, and then I walked all the way back home. When I came back home, I completely forgot that I put all the pills in a little balloon on the bed, and I saw it, and I just got mad at myself. I'm like, what have I been doing for the last year and a half, 2 years? Holy shit, I just grabbed it, and I just flushed everything. And it's almost like I had a mental breakdown at the same time, and I went to my mom's room and I grabbed it. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm throwing all this out." I was like, "What's wrong with you?" And I started yelling at her. I was like, how can you enable me like this?" And I started screaming. I started panicking, and she was like, calm down. And like, I started crying, and I broke down, and I like walked out her bedroom, and I flushed everything, literally every single prescription drug that I had, even ibuprofen in the medicine cabinet. I grabbed it, everything. I just tossed it. I had NyQuil pills that I used to take too when I couldn't get Ambien, and I took that and I threw it, and I just flushed every single thing.
That's got codeine in it, bro. People don't understand. Yeah. NyQuil's got codeine in it, bro.
Yeah,
have you ever tried codeine?
Yes, I have.
Like the actual drink, like the purple stuff. I've never tried it before, but I've heard good things, but I've heard bad things as well, bro.
I have, and when I took it, I started coughing up blood. When I first
that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign. Mm-hmm. Fuck that. No more. So when you stopped taking it, you were okay?
That was like a one-time thing that I did, and
okay, yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, and so like I realized I was developing a actual pill addiction. I was like, I'm like, yo, I'm about to be an addict if I don't stop. And I started realizing it because my stepdad, was a drug addict, and I was just like, I can't be like that. I can't do it. And I started like flipping out, and I just went and I hit the gym for like 4 hours. I was just at the gym, just working out, relaxing. I hit the sauna and just worked out all day. I didn't want to go back home. And I came back home later that night after having that breakdown. And my mom, she didn't say a word to me. Didn't say anything. Didn't ask me what happened, what went wrong. She didn't say anything to me. And I just went inside my bedroom. And I like really thought about what woke me up. It was actually like, I owe it all to like Chappelle's show distracting me. Because if that was of all things, Dave Chappelle.
It's a good show, bro.
Oh, it's to this day one of my favorite shows, and you know, it was my dream to see him perform live, which I'm very fortunate to be able to say I have finally. But I always want to actually meet him and thank him, not go into like this long sob rambling story to him, but like thank him, you know, because a lot of people don't know my backstory, and a lot of people who do stuff like that don't know the positive impact that they have made. So like it's crazy how you said that you don't know how like Dragon Ball videos could save a life, but like he probably feels the same way, how him telling jokes can save a life, and because it's happened with me.
It's just jokes, bro. It has nothing to do with your situation. He's not giving you therapy. It's just, but in a way, it is giving you therapy. Like it's giving you like a weird therapy, you know, it makes you feel. It's weird, man. It's a weird thing. Like for me, I'm when I get bummed out, I'll watch like wrestling or I'll watch like Dragon Ball. Usually wrestling, because I've seen Dragon Ball so many times. It does help, but I mean, it's just weird that, you know, your content or a person's content can cause that. You know, that's always been a weird thing, but it makes sense. You know.
You know, when I originally watched it, I didn't really think about like any sort of impact. You know, my goal was to just play it and do what I normally do. You know what I mean? And I think about it, and I realize like it was an escape, but it wasn't some sort of long term. You know, because what a lot of people look for, they do short term stuff hoping that it lasts long term. You know, what I did was...
bro, short-term gain, long-term pain. It's better to do short-term pain, long-term gain. I've always felt that way.
Yeah, and so what a lot of people don't realize, that's partly why I started my Facebook page, because it was just like, I like to post funny shit. And part of it was because I was actually bored, and this girl I was talking to was like, oh, you should... Because I used to post it on my personal profile. I used to post random shit, and people couldn't share or anything because it was private. And she was like, oh, I want to share it. And I'm like, no, I don't want people coming to my profile. I don't want, you know, people stalking me and shit like that. And she's like, oh, just make a fan page. And so I did, and I made it. And then I started working with someone else on his page because he had a bigger page and he needed someone to help run it. So I was posting my content on his page, and he was like, oh, plug in your page. He was like, you need to plug in your page so people can come to you and this and that. I was like, no, it's okay, man. I'm posting funny shit, you know, and whatever. And people started finding me, and my page started to grow, which is in 2012. And for those who can't math, you know, that was 9 years ago, and I was fucking 22.
It feels like it was yesterday, bro.
Yeah, I was 20.
Honestly,
I was 22, and that was when I officially gave up antidepressants. That same year. That was right before I gave up antidepressants. Right before spring of 2012.
And you never had the urge to go back?
No.
That's good. I mean, it's crazy because somebody like you who was homeless, you would think like, oh, if I get a sponsorship, I'll take whatever I can, because you have that kind of homeless mentality. Like, you know, I don't ever want to go back to that.
No.
But you didn't do it. And it's crazy because I'm going to tell you this about me. I have been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder. I have PTSD from being homeless. Found out last year.
I found out in 2014 I have PTSD.
From the homelessness or from other shit?
No, for something else. From my mother pulling out a knife on me.
That, fuck. I mean, we can talk about that if you want, but that might be... No. That's up to you. No, but I'm just saying that I got diagnosed with it, and so, like, my whole thing has been, what people don't understand about this shit, bro, which is why I take it very personal, and I know I shouldn't, but I take it very personal when somebody tries to discredit the work that I've done, or that people who I love, like our friends, for example, have done to get where they're at. Mm-hmm. Like, I take it very personal, bro, because what they don't see is the road it takes to get there. Like when you mentioned earlier about the whole Dino stopping me from blowing up because he's with Bandai. Like, you act like Dino was always with Bandai, bro. Like, him and Dimitri were like fucking roommates and shit. Like, that's such fucking bullshit,
like
bro.
Me and Dino were working with Bandai. First of all, Dino was with Bandai for years, even before he got any sort of like fucking traction. Like, this dude was with Bandai, working and friends with people at Bandai for years. And same thing with me. I've seen people come and go for Bandai. before Dimitri started at Bandai, which was 2006.
It was like 2015, right?
2016, like 2016.
I remember the other guy who was there.
Yeah,
I remember that.
His name is Jay,
David?
who is now actually with Arc Systems now. But
where's he with?
he's with Arc Systems. Arc Systems.
Ain't that a bitch?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
He's with Arc Systems now. He went to Blizzard, and he was working for World of Warcraft.
That's right. He went to Blizzard. I remember that now.
Yeah, he went to Blizzard, and then he went and started working with ArcSys, which I randomly bumped into him when he first started at ArcSys because I went to a private Arc Systems event. And
I just realized that the guy David, who I mentioned, works for Toei. You know David from Toei?
Yeah, he does social media.
Yeah, social media guy. Yeah.
There was another guy who his name is David. He used to work with Bandai too, and then he left, and now he's with Sony full time, and he works with Sony. He's like my contact at Sony now. But yeah, it's just really weird that people attribute people's success to someone else. You know, like that's why I'm very picky in terms of collab. Like, who else? I don't really collab with anybody. You know, I rarely do YouTube videos with anybody. You know, people has asked me. I know tons of big YouTubers where they would be glad to put me on their channel. Not to sound arrogant, but like they would want me on their channel because we have the chemistry. We're chill. We're all homies. You know, and a lot of times I'll be like, no, that's okay, man. I'm good. Because it's weird if a bigger person features you, people credit your growth to that person.
Right. But that's not even like that's part of it. But it just pisses me off that they try to discredit the work. Like that one dude, I'm not going to say his name. I don't even remember his fucking name. That guy who was kind of clowned on a month ago because he was talking about how, oh, well, all the big YouTubers don't ever play with y'all, but I do. I forget the guy's name. I don't really know the guy. And it's like, that's such a bad attitude to have, bro, because what they don't see is what goes into this shit and how many hours people put into this, bro. Like, this is not something that I just work a 9 to 5 and I'm done. This is my life, bro. And I mean that sincerely. This is literally my life, bro. I'm checking my shit at least 4 or 5 times a day unless I'm on vacation to make sure that everything's good. You know, it's kind of a trap in a way. There's a lot of mental shit that goes through with it. But it's just interesting because, you know, when I got diagnosed with PTSD, I was, my whole thing was I'm scared to be homeless. And now I have paid off my house. My house is paid, dog. And it's a big accomplishment for me because I'll never be homeless again. Because in the state of Florida, even if I don't pay my property tax, right, which is all I have to pay, right, a homeowners association, all they're going to do is just tack on more fees and put a lien on my house. They can't even kick me out of here, bro. Like, it would take years. It would take 15 to 20 years to actually get me out of this house, bro. Yep. That's how crazy the laws are here. So I'll never be homeless again, bro, and that's good. But at the same time, right, to trip out on this one, I still got that PTSD because now my next goal is, and this is like just me kind of speaking candidly with you, I don't care about telling people on the air because I think they should do the same thing. I think everybody should aspire to do this. My next goal is to set up passive income through real estate. Like, my next goal now is, okay, my house is paid. I'll never be homeless. My next goal is, how can I set myself up to where I don't have to work? In other words, I have enough passive income coming in that if I want to quit YouTube tomorrow, I can say, fuck it, I'm done. I'm not saying I'm going to quit because I love what I do, but it's good to have, like, you know, passive income from real estate or from stocks or whatever, you know, and not have to work and not have to go into an office. That's my next goal, but that's all because of the PTSD. So in a weird way, bro, this is going to sound fucked up, but the fact that both my parents are dead and the fact that my brother's dead, in a weird way, and the fact that I got PTSD made me work harder. Because I ain't got nowhere to go, bro. Let's say I didn't have this home. Let's say I live in an apartment. If I lose my job, I can't do like some of these kids can do and say, I'm going to move in with mom or dad or uncle. My parents are dead, dog. My brother's dead. My family's in Cuba. I can't even live. I have literally no relatives to move into. So I have to literally survive on my own because this country sure is fucking going to help. I mean, you might get a little bit of you know, welfare and you might get unemployment, but that's not going to pay all your bills permanently. So you know what I mean? Like it's weird because the PTSD almost made me a better person, or at least a harder working person. You know, it's weird, bro. It's almost like I had to go through that, you know?
Well, I always tell people, like, how you approach adversity and how you flip adversity to make it beneficial towards you determines how successful you will be. You know, a lot of people, like, for example, one of the biggest forms of adversity that I have faced on social media was being suspended and losing my page. It would have been easy for me to just give up. You know what I mean? I could walk
Well,
away.
now you're climbing back, bro.
Like I could walk away from social media whenever I want, and I always tell people no one could deplatform you unless you decide to be deplatformed. Unless you're a fucking pedophile, and even then,
right? The extreme case.
Yeah, that's an extreme case. But like, you can't, like the whole cancel culture. You can't be canceled unless you mentally check out. And so like when I lost my previous Twitter page at like 170,000 followers, the first thing that came to my mind was I'll come back when I feel like it. And I came back the same week. I made an account. Well, I already had a backup account that I made in 2015, which is Saving the Bees now. I made it like March 2015 or some shit because I was suspended prior. You know, I got suspended in 2015. I got suspended in 2014 and 13. So I told myself, I was like, look, if people notice that I'm missing, they're going to come find me. You know what I mean? And if I tell myself it's no longer worth it, if I mentally give up, it's me who put that on me at that point. You know what I mean? And I flipped it, and I realized I was like, I could use me getting suspended as a way to rebrand and elevate the rebranding. And I did.
And that could have destroyed you too, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like mentally.
Yeah, and I put a lot of work in growing and being active on social media, because what a lot of people don't realize is, working a full-time job and trying to keep up with, what's trending and constantly being on your phone and all these things, it's not as easy as people think. It's not fucking hard. It's not fucking rocket science either. But at the same time, it takes effort. It takes a lot of effort to be consistent and to keep doing what I was doing. And there was a guy, and again, I'm not gonna name any names. He's not in our fandom anymore, but he was a YouTuber, right? And he covered One Piece, and supposedly he blamed Dino, me, and Afro for him not growing. And I'm just sitting here like, have I ever made a single One Piece video? Have they ever made a single One Piece video? Not that I know.
It's like when you start blaming other people, bro, like you're such a fucking loser, bro. That's loser shit, bro. You're basically telling the world I'm a bitch.
It's also like the lack of accountability that a lot of people have it's astounding, because as I get older, and my experience has made me incredibly wise. I'm still learning. Don't get me wrong. There's always room for growth and learning. But like, I've been pretty fucking wise since a teenager. I had to grow up early, right? So, but like looking back and observing a lot of people, the lack of accountability, like there's always like victim blaming
and self-awareness,
and people. Well, like people start shit, they can't finish it, and then like when they start shit, they go, like earlier today, some dude said some stupid shit, and the minute I responded and corrected him, he went private. And I'm just like, come on, man. Why go private? Why not just reply to me and say, oh, my fault, I made a mistake, you're right. Boom.
Or just say agree or disagree, and that's it.
Yeah. Like he initiated the conversation. I don't even know this guy. He didn't even follow me. He initiated the conversation by, one, insulting me and everybody generally. Two, was flat out wrong by stating some random Dragon Ball fact that was completely false. And so I went, and he completely had misspelling. It was just like, why insult people's intelligence?
Just an idiot.
And then
idiot,
you
bro,
can't even spell. So I went and I clapped back and I said some shit. But then a lot of people perceive that as, oh, it's just Saving the Bees being fucking aggressive and being an asshole.
Or what about when they say, what about when they say, oh, well, you have a big platform, you should have a more responsibility and not let kids get attacked. So you're telling me that because I built up my shit, because I worked to build up my shit, I should take abuse and not give it back? So, are you out of your fucking mind?
And I've addressed that. I told people, I was like, you can't go. This makes you a huge fucking coward, a huge pussy, when you say some out of line shit to someone with a following. In the back of your mind, you're like, I hope he doesn't respond, because people do that. They'll be like, oh, I didn't think he would respond.
They're cowards.
They would, when people say, oh, I didn't think he would respond. To me, that's code for I'm a coward, and I hope he wouldn't notice it.
Or how about this one? Or how about this one when they say, "Oh my God, you responded, huge fan." It's like,
Oh yeah, I get that all the time.
in the back of my, and this is gonna sound fucked up, bro, but in the back of my mind, I don't respect that. I don't respect it. Like I don't respect it. Like I thank you for your support, but if you're trying to get under my skin to get a response, like I just kind of look down on you, like that's not the right way to talk to me, bro. Like,
yeah,
I'm
because
never gonna respect you.
I tell people, I'm like, when you do shit like that, you're very fortunate that there's like a certain amount of time and gap between your toxicity and a person noticing it. There's a certain amount of time. It could be a couple of seconds to minutes to maybe hours that he'll notice it. If it was in real life and you said some crazy outlandish shit to somebody, there may not be that grace period where the person could think about it. The person could be fucking crazy and snap and bash your fucking face.
I mean, bro, you say the N-word on Twitter. People, not you, but I mean, people say the N-word all the time on Twitter and all this homophobic shit. Like, you know the type, bro. They'll sit there and they'll insult, like, my friend Josie about her transition. When Josie's, like, a third-degree black belt, like, Josie will fucking break your jaw, bro. Like, and I'm not even kidding. Like, she will choke you out quickly. I've seen her do it. Like, I've seen her not do it, but, I've seen her demonstrate it. Like, and it's like they can say it behind a keyboard, where we've been through this a million times. And you're right. You don't have, it's a luxury, bro. It's what you say. It's a luxury. Yep. It really is. But it's so cowardly, bro. Like, I've said it before. People who talk shit on the internet are such fucking pussies, bro. Like, it's such a, and why do you even live like that? That's the one thing I've never really understood. And it's funny because my therapist, who helped me through my PTSD, I told him all this shit, and he's like, "Oh, those are the guys who just whack off to porn all day on the internet, don't have any lives." It's like, I've said that before, but hearing it from like a PhD, right? It's so validating hearing a PhD say, "Oh, they just beat off to porn all day on the internet. They don't matter." Like, think about that, And it's fucked up because I actually want people to succeed. I'm so like pro self-employment, I'm very pro not imperialism, but I'm very pro-capitalism in the sense of people going into business for themselves. And, if you want to be a cook, be a cook. If you want to be a musician, be a musician. I want people to chase their fucking dreams, bro. I want people to find a passion and then chase it. I've always wanted that. Yeah. But it's like other people they're so cowardly. They're not willing to put in the work. So lazy, they don't want to put in the work. So instead, they'll go in and I said it for Neverworld before, bro. When him and I, like, not when we beefed, but people were talking shit about him a while back, and I told him, I said, they don't want to put in the work. They don't. So they'll sit there and they'll fucking, try to bring you down to their level. And it's so lazy and pussified, bro. Like you get no respect with that kind of behavior in the real world. It's like people on the internet who spit out shit like, well, like, people who say shit like, the transphobic people, well, science says that you're a man even though you're taking pills to be a woman. It's like, actually, science invented those fucking pills to make them into a woman, bro, or whatever, to transition their bodies. You stupid motherfucker. Like, don't be throwing science at me, you know what I'm saying? Actually, a friend of mine said that, who's probably going to listen to this, and I'm not ragging on him. I'm not going to say who it was, but motherfuckers say that kind of shit on. So no offense, bro, but don't take it personal. But I'm saying people have said that kind of shit to my friends and other people too. Like, well, science says, don't fucking throw science. Fuck you. You know what I mean? Like,
there's just people who like they've never, and you could tell they've never got punched in the fucking face before.
Right.
And
right.
And look, I'm the type of person where it's like, your first priority and response shouldn't be physical violence, right? I'm a firm believer where, like your first instinct shouldn't be, oh, I'm gonna go punch this dude, because that's you're no better at that point. But at the same time, there's some people that need to get the shit smacked out of them, and you could tell that they haven't. I've gotten my ass whooped before, and it was very fucking humbling. But at the same time, like, there's people who are just so fucking reckless in how they speak, and then they say shit like, "Oh, I'm going to catch you at a convention," and this and that. And it's just like, no, you're not, bro. Like, just you tweeting that shows that you.
Yeah, no, you're not.
You're not.
Because you saying that, what you've just done is you've made yourself liable, and if you do something, you'll get sued by. You could possibly get sued by you, like Bardock Obama. Mm-hmm. You can get sued by the convention. You can get sued by the convention owner or by the convention goers, bro. You're not stupid enough to do shit.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that. Like, there was this one fucking Facebook group. I'm not gonna say their name, but they were like threatening. I got into it with them publicly on Facebook, and they were like,
I know who it is.
They were like threatening to mass report me as a joke. They called it like, "Oh, we're just joking, we're just shit posting and stuff like that." And one of the owners
said the same shit to me.
One of the owners, like page owners, messaged me, and I told them, I was like, "Yo, you guys can mass report me, but like it's gonna be you guys that's gonna get in trouble because at the time I had a sponsor that was running ads on my page, like actual ads, and I was very
paid.
Yeah, like they were running ads on my page. So what happened is my page became part business for them. And so what happens is you false flagging and mass reporting my page, they might take legal action. That's why I told the dude. So what the group did was the page owner, being a piece of shit scumbag that he is, took a part of the message where I said legal action might be taken. That's it. Cut out the part where I said, if you mass report my page, my sponsor might take legal action. He took that page and said, "Hey guys, Bardock is threatening to sue us," which is like completely fucking false. I
know exactly what page it is.
And I'm just like,
and now that you mention that, I know exactly what page
I'm just like, how stupid can you be? And of course, there's stupid people who believe that shit because they will grasp at anything. As long as they don't like you, they'll grasp at anything that sounds true. And so what I did was I posted the full context of the message, and people, for some reason, they can't grasp it. Where it explicitly says in the message, if you mass report my page for no reason, just for shits and giggles, for jokes and blah, 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 I can't do anything once my sponsor steps in. I'm not going to tell them not to pursue it. I'm not going to stop them. Right. That's their own decision. And I told him, I was like, look, I don't want it to escalate. I told him. In the next message, I even told him, I was like, I don't want it to escalate to that level. It's stupid. There's no reason to. So, like, I told him, I was like, you guys can make all the memes and talk all the shit you want about me. I don't care. But the fact that you're trying to mass report my page to get unpublished, it's not just affecting me anymore. If it was a couple years ago, it could be different.
Bro, that whole group is literally composed of fucking losers, bro. Like, there's not a single winner in that whole group.
No, and then, like, a whole bunch of people that are fans of me that used to be in that group left. And they told me, they're like, "Oh, shit, I didn't know this. I always went with the memes, but I didn't see how toxic and stupid." And what's crazy is that page owner, even in the same message, said, "Oh, half the time I don't even read the comments because they're so toxic and cancerous and stuff like that." I was like, then do something about it. Like,
then nuke the fucking page or something. It's like you're okay with that kind of behavior?
Yeah, like, and it is what it is. Like, they stopped bothering me after that. And you know why they were doing that? They were all salty because for some reason they found out like 2 years later that there was a petition made for me to voice Jiren. That's it. They were just salty.
I remember that whole thing.
Yeah, and they found out late. Literally 2 years after I turned down the audition role and the opportunity. And they were salty about it.
It's funny because I had a run-in with them too. If it's the same group I'm thinking of, maybe Probably. It's not. But I think we'll talk about it off the air. But I remember I had a run-in with them, and I told them, I was like, "People are posting private pictures of me in your group, which is fine because a lot of them I didn't care that much. But I'm like, you do realize that I can get you shut down if I really wanted to." And I said that to the guy. I was like, "Listen, keep my name out of your fucking mouth and everything will be cool. But if you go to war with me, bro, I will pursue it all the way." Yeah. And I will. And I told him, I was like, every single person in your fucking group that says something about me, bro, is going to have something coming to them. Straight up. And that message got posted in the fucking group, bro. So I had 2 or 3 people DMing me like, "Yo, did you really say that about the group?" And I was like, context matters. You know, and I explained to them, like, they were harassing me, they were fucking with me, they were putting private pictures. I'm not putting up with that shit, bro. I'm not. I have money. Here's the 2 most dangerous things that I have, bro. I have money and power. And I'm not trying to be a dick, bro, but that's what I have right now because I work for it. I worked my ass off for this shit for 5 years, and most of those guys don't. Just like that. I'm not trying to be a mafia guy or a tough guy, but it's like enough is enough, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it was just
now we're cool. We're cool now, but I mean, there was an issue there a few years ago. It was years ago. It was like last year.
Well, it was just like I told him, I was like, "Look, you guys can make memes and say whatever the fuck you want, but like, just leave me alone." You know what I mean? Like,
right?
I
agree with that.
Just leave me the fuck alone. Like, the point where there's a difference between harassment and joking, and what happens is they use the fact that I have a large following to try to pacify me. And I was like,
that large following can end up biting them in the ass.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And then so what happened is, like, I don't tell my community what to do because I'm not some shepherd over sheep or anything. If they want to defend me, awesome. Imagine a community that doesn't have your back. You know what I mean? I'm happy my community has my back. And when I'm wrong, they check me. That's just how it works. And so most of the time, I'm not wrong. So they have my back and they retaliate and they jump in. Because at the same time, I'm in a position where I can't reply aggressively to people anymore. Like if I directly on a Facebook report, if I go and I reply and I'm like, you're a fucking idiot, they could just report me, mass report that particular
Same thing
comment.
with Twitter.
Yeah.
Same thing with Twitter. Yeah.
So what I do is I just go, I reply, I say some shit, I let it sit for a while, and then I delete it, and it's over. I don't even entertain back and forth anymore.
Right.
I just don't, because I have way more to lose than these people. Most of these people don't really have anything going for them. That's why they're so fucking toxic. They're unhappy.
And I wish it wasn't like this, bro. I wish people would just be cool and you know what I mean?
And I'm always
weird world.
And I'm always open to discourse. But the thing is, the moment I gave them the opportunity to talk, they went and took a message at context, forcing me, because I am against posting DMs. I'm against it. I never do it. I hate it. I could be mad at somebody. I will never ever post something that someone said to me as a way to attack that person. You know what I mean? And the minute,
you mean like private conversations?
Yeah, like private conversations.
Yeah, I don't do that either, bro. And whenever somebody does that publicly, I always kind of shake my head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it's just like keep the public stuff public. You know what I mean? And so the minute that the page or group owner did that, I was like, yeah, there's no more conversation. And then they were trying to reach out to me again. What a lot of people don't know is they were trying to reach out to me. They were trying to talk. I was like, nope, we're no longer talking. And I blocked them and banned them off my page. Like, nope, you tried having conversation. I gave you the chance to talk, and I was willing to compromise and talk things out, you know, and they weren't willing to do it. And they weren't willing to do it at first. They wanted to try to use the conversation against me and try to pretend like they were willing to work things out to try in order to like try to flip it. You know what I mean? That's why like now I just don't entertain back and forth with people. And I'm sure they probably still exist and still talk shit, and I wouldn't know them because I don't look for it. You know what I mean?
No, I'm the same way. I'm sure that people do talk shit, but I don't look for it either. And again, if people talk shit, it's like, in my position, I'm going to deal with that anyway, especially with like, you know, what I said this year about Dragon Ball Super, and then if people came after me, like calling me a liar and shit. Look, if the shit got fucking postponed, point blank, right? Things changed. It's no different than if you fucking report that Tom Brady's going to the fucking, the Giants, right? And then he doesn't go. Like, it doesn't make you a liar. It just, the shit changes, right? But I just really hate being called a liar, bro. Like, that actually is one thing that pisses me off, because I never lie on anything I say, bro. I don't lie. I have lied to get out of shit in the past when I was younger, obviously. Yeah. But not when it comes to, you know, my credibility. I care too much about my credibility to lie. You know,
I always tell people, it's just like, look, man, you're in your full right to say whatever the fuck you want. I'm not here to try to pacify anybody or silence anybody. That's not how I operate. If you want to talk shit, go ahead, talk shit. Just know I'm gonna talk shit right back. And the difference,
and don't cry when I do. And don't fucking cry about it when I do.
And the difference between you and me is, if you talk shit about me and I've reached a point where I feel like it's time for me to say some shit back, I'm gonna try to strike you to make sure you stay down. That's how I operate. But you gotta understand, that's just consequence of your behavior. My retaliation is consequence. And it, like, the Dragon Ball community has, there's people in this community that try to chastise me for being aggressively responsive. And I tell people, I tell people, I was like, no, always stand up for yourself. Always. I'm willing to put my shit in jeopardy to show that I will always stand up for myself, and everybody should always stand up for themselves.
Thank you, dude. People have chastised me for the same thing, and what's fucked up about it is some of these people who have chastised me for this are supposedly my friends, and you find out who your real friends are, bro, in time, and they should know by now that I don't put up with bullshit. If you're really my friend, you know I'm not gonna put up with bullshit. Oh well, Geekdom's mean on Twitter and this and that, which I'm really not mean, but if you notice, people actually pay attention, I don't go after people, bro. They come after me. And if I happen to, look, if you come after me with a knife and I have a gun, that's your fucking fault, bro. If you come after me with in your car and I have a fucking monster truck, that's your fucking fault, bro. You should know what you're getting into. If I go out on Twitter right now and I talk shit about Trump or PewDiePie or somebody, you know, or you know, a famous person, bro, I know I'm gonna get fucking a ton of people coming after me, bro. That's just cause and effect. That's cause and effect, bro. That and they don't even like. What am I supposed to do? Just shut the fuck up and take it?
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like,
and then they back off, bro. Like, I didn't mean that. And stop, dude. Stop,
what a lot of people,
bro.
why I notice what a lot of people do is too, they just don't let it be. They'll like go take a step back after you clap back, and then like a couple of weeks, a couple of months later, they try pushing and jabbing again, and it's like a rinse
make
repeat.
Another account.
Yeah, like they try jabbing and push to see if they could get your attention because they kind of feed off of it. It's this sick, weird thing.
There's a guy on Twitter, right? And he's been obsessed with me for at least like a year, to where he actually goes. I've seen him do it. He Googles or he Twitter searches my name, and every time somebody mentions my name, he replies back and says, "Yeah, he's a bad person. He's an asshole. He's a bad person." I have no idea who this kid is. Never met him before, but he has this weird obsession where he's going around telling people that I'm a bad person.
I haven't Googled myself. Oh, not Google, because I did Google myself to pull up articles for Twitter verification, but I haven't I haven't name searched myself on social media in like 2 years because I felt like it was
I stopped doing it.
Because it's not like because I cared what people said, but it was also because I was looking for drama. I was looking for a fight.
Right, you're looking. That's what I did. I did that a couple times earlier this year, and I stopped doing it. Yeah, it's like I was looking for people to fucking because they're cowards, bro. They'll say your name, but they won't at you.
Well, it was also it wasn't not just that. It was just that was my
pussies,
that was my toxic trait that I fully admit, and I told people on stream. I was open about it. That a lot of the times I was searching for it. I was searching for hate, so I could just give the entertainment. So people could think that I'm some fucking savage when it's a bad perception.
Right,
but it was my toxic trait that I realized was really bad. That was also enabling a toxic side of the fandom. You know, it was almost like we were feeding off of each other in a bad way. And I'm like, shit, man, I gotta stop doing this shit. Because people are gonna always have some shit to say about me. And if people care in terms if their criticism is coming from a good place, they will tell me directly what people have told me, which is why I've made it to this level, you know, because I have taken the criticism from people that I felt like actually genuinely care about furthering my position and cared about my growth and cared about my community. You know what I mean?
Right. And don't ever take criticism from somebody who doesn't have your best interest, bro. That's what I've always said. Well, that's why it's weird, bro. These randos are like, they'll come at you and then, I'm just criticizing. Dog, I don't know you. Why do I have to listen to your criticism if you've never proven me that you have a track record of success? How can somebody criticize my channel who doesn't do YouTube? I just can't take them seriously. I'd rather listen to somebody who at least is in the goddamn game.
What I think about that is like, I guess like that's fair to think that. I don't think that way. What I do is, and what I always tell people is, you are fully in your right to criticize me in any way possible. What you got to also understand,
but I don't have to listen to it.
What you got to understand is, I'm 100% in charge and deeming your criticism worthy or beneficial to me. If I feel like it's not beneficial to me, cool, you got your criticism, but I'm gonna keep it moving. I'm not gonna address it. I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna talk to you. There's no conversation. I don't need to have a conversation with it. You know, like if somebody wants to say, "Oh, you're unfunny," okay. Thank you.
Comedy is subjective.
That's your criticism. But if someone says, "Oh, this joke wasn't funny. You should have said it this way. That's this and that." Okay, cool. I'll take that into consideration when I make a joke again. That's that. It's that simple. You know, there's people who go about it in a weird fucking way in terms of criticism, where they go and they say it in a way where they want to insult you. And say it's crazy.
Sometimes they do insult you, bro. Straight up.
Yeah, like they want to make it insulting without being insulting. You know, like the backhanded compliments and backhanded criticism. And then when you don't take it well and stuff like that, you're labeled as, "Oh, you can't take criticism." Well, a lot of people don't realize is content creators who have made it far and have grown because of criticism. It's called feedback. And when you give negative feedback, negative feedback usually is cooperative with fucking positive feedback, cold feedback. You know, there's cold and hot feedback. And if people choose to only give cold feedback, that's cool. But there's people who like to know what they're doing right, so they don't adjust and change what they're doing right. either. That's how feedback and criticism works. And a lot of people don't know, and a lot of people think that they're expert. You know, when you give criticism from an expert point of view, the person that's getting the criticism, how you give it has to be in a neutral perspective. If you want to give criticism from an expert point of view, you have to give it in a way where you say what's wrong, and then you have to follow up with what to do right. You know? Correct.
That's, yeah. You have to offer, and that's the thing that's funny is, that's how it works in the real world. On the internet, nobody gives a fuck because it's social media and they're all fucking, it's not the real world. But in the real world, if you're working for a corporation and you have a criticism, you have to have a solution for that criticism. You can't just go into a boardroom and say, this toy sucks, it's garbage. You have to have an idea to make it better or to make another toy if you're working for Toys R Us or whatever, Mattel, whatever the fuck. So I'm saying, like, that's how it works in the real world. But like we talked about, bro, on the web, people just say whatever the fuck they want and it doesn't affect anything, dude. Like, they'll sit there and they'll scream about how they want this and that. But I mean, is it really getting through? I guess sometimes it does, but it takes a lot of people, you know, for something to actually move. And that's very rare too. Like it seems like it's more common than it actually is. Like the James Gunn thing. But people don't understand. The James Gunn thing was a rare case because there was a lot of people criticizing Disney over that, and rightfully so. I mean, thousands of people. Yep. But if it was like a smaller director or like a lesser story, nobody would even talk about it.
It's true, and you know, there's also like the vocal minority that people tend to focus on mostly, and they let it. Like, I see content creators where they just focus on people who are hating on their content and people who are hating on their favorite series or just hating in general. And they don't look... You gotta look at both. You know, you shouldn't just look at the people who praise you and ignore all the people that are criticizing you.
Right. I agree with that.
There needs to be some sort of a balance in between both. Sometimes it's okay to look at one more over the other. But when you start to only focus on the negative shit, you know, there's content creators who say, I don't even read comments because it's all hate. Well, it's like, your content, your page is your household. If your household is in shambles, it's because you have failed as a head of the household, and you have to take charge of your household. You know, and there's a lot of times where people's like, "Oh, I don't even want to read comments on my chat. I don't want to read comments on my YouTube videos." And it's like, well, you should. It's okay to block people who are being toxic, but it's also imperative that you read what people are talking about. Because what if you put out, I don't know, like a video and there's misinformation and someone, because everybody, if you are a good informative person, you double check, triple check, you know, your resources and stuff like that. But there's mistakes happen, and sometimes in the comment section there might be someone who knows something you don't know, and they might say something, and then there's people who take offense to that. You know, this actually the other day I made a tweet about backseat gaming, which is a neo term now, where that people do, and a lot of streamers don't like backseat gaming. I can see why, because, you know, somebody might spoil some shit, not just for you, but for the fucking chat. But there's people who like take it to the next level and just banning people who give any sort of advice. And it's very frustrating to see that happening. And so what happened was I went into a random stream. My community knows that I like to do this. I go into streams randomly, and what I do is, depending on their filter system, if they force you to follow for like an hour, I'll leave. But if I have to follow for like 10 minutes, I'll do it. Because Twitch has this setting to prevent spam. I have it on my channel too, where you have to just follow. It says follow for 0 minutes so they can chat. This was right before I went live. This was on Tuesday. I was going stream to stream, and what I was doing was I was asking people if they drank water. If they answered yes, I will either gift a whole bunch of subs or I'll donate something. It's something that I do to pass my time, where I just go and gift and donate random small streamers and shit like that. So what I did was I was in the Modern Warfare directory, and I asked this one dude, "Hey, are you staying hydrated?" He was like, "Oh yeah, man." He pulled out like a fucking jug. He was like, "Yeah, I'm always drinking water." I was like, "Oh, that's dope. Good shit." I gifted him 10 subs and I left. Then I went to the next stream, and there was this girl. You know, she had like a pretty sizable viewership. It was like 300 people watching, 400.
Not too bad. That's pretty good actually for Twitch.
Yeah, and she had a 10-minute filter. And like the minute I went, so when you go on pages, if they have chat rules, it automatically prompts you. And she had like a laundry list of rules. It was so fucking crazy. And in the chat, it said, no backseat gaming in caps, which was fucking crazy. It was fucking hilarious. But okay, cool. I had to click follow so I can chat. You know what I mean? So 10 minutes pass. She was playing Modern Warfare. It's a 2v2 mode that she was playing. And she was on this map where it's like a target practice map. And I jokingly said, what I do is I always go left. And I put LOL. And I put forward slash or backslash S, which means sarcasm. And I got fucking banned immediately. I got banned, and she like said out loud, someone banned that random Twitch verified dude for backseat gaming. Well, imagine coming into my chat and telling me how to play the game. I was just like, what the fuck? I got banned immediately. So I just fucking left. But it was fucking crazy how she took this as backseat gaming and immediately just fucking banned me. And her mods were like egging her on, and they're like, "Oh, fuck that guy! Oh, he's a verified partner user. We should just report him." I hate when people come with their little purple badge for attention. Blah blah blah. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. If you would have just given me a chance, you probably would have been gifted 10 or 20 subs. Who knows? It was fucking crazy, dude. And I went on this like Twitch rant about backseat gaming because I find it funny that people, it's frowned upon, and I get it. Like, if I'm playing a story, clearly don't spoil it. But if you see someone struggling for like 20 half an hour, yo, give them advice on how to play. Give me advice. If you see me struggling, hell yeah, help me. I ask my chat all the time, yo, what should I do next? And the chat immediately knows, because chances are they played the game more than I have. Especially if a game came out and I'm waiting for my stream day to come. Chances are they're going to have an advantage. They played it before me, so they know what to do. You know? For
sure. No, for sure. I've always been very pro, because with streaming, I'm always pro interaction, bro. If you're just sitting there and you're not interacting, I mean, obviously there's some times where you can't because you're focused, or you know, you're it's not that type of stream. Like if you're an artist and you're drawing, you know. Mm-hmm. But I've always been very pro community, bro. I like talking to the people on Twitch or YouTube. It doesn't matter, and listening to what they have to say, because most people are good people, bro. Like, whenever somebody says the Dragon Ball fandom is toxic, for example, it's like, that's a crock of shit, bro.
Just
like,
a vocal minority. That's just toxic.
Exactly. There are toxic people, bro, but Kamehacon and meeting people in other conventions I've been to, like Anime Milwaukee, like C2E2, I've been to a bunch of cons this year. In real life, bro, nobody's a douchebag, bro. Everybody's super fucking cool.
For the most part,
That's all. Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. There's a small number that aren't, but like we talked about, bro, I've never met somebody who's a dick, like maybe once or twice, but rarely, bro. Most people are good people, bro. Most people actually understand. It's just, I don't know, man. The internet is a weird place sometimes.
It really is. I know there's some people out there who like probably participate in toxicity, but when they meet you on social media and stuff like that, they're not consistent with who they are. You know what I mean? They're very fucking toxic on social media, but in person, they're actually a genuinely nice person. And those people, the problem is just like, you have to always be yourself. You always have, like, how I am on social media is how I am in person. But the good qualities that they don't see is because they're provoking the bad qualities. But there's also good qualities to me. That's how I perceive it, you know? And so it's because a lot of people, before they create this bridge of communication, they burn the bridge before anything starts. Because the first thing that comes out of their initial interaction is them being assholes. And it's like, you put certain energy out in the universe, don't be surprised you get that energy right back. You know, if you go and you tweet somebody, hey, I love your content, man, they're not going to randomly reply, oh, go fuck yourself. That's not how it works. And a lot of people don't realize this, and so they perceive aggressiveness as the one whole constant fucking quality that I have, or someone else, or some shit like that. Because I've seen it before where people were like, "Oh, I don't follow him because he's always arguing with people." I was like, "No, I'm not. I rarely argue."
No, you're not. No, you're not. You tweet a lot, but I mean, that's not aggressive tweeting or aggressive.
Yeah,
I know. Same thing with me.
Like, the last time I literally got into a back and forth an argument on social media, like a legitimate argument back and forth, was like 2 years ago. Literally like 2 years ago. And it's crazy how people seem to have forgot that it's been like 2 years. People think that it's like that because the last time they had any sort of interaction with me or seen anything from me was like 2 years ago. And they think the last impression that they got from me 2 years ago is consistent in who I am.
That same guy who I mentioned earlier about who was criticizing people for dropping or for not dropping out of Kamehacon. Anybody who did not drop out as a scumbag or whatever the fuck he said. I'm paraphrasing. He didn't say it in those words. He also fucking stopped fucking with me a couple years ago because of shit that I did on Twitter 3 years ago. Like, can you let it go? Can you let it go? And we also tried to resolve it several times. Just didn't want to do it. So, okay. Like, I'm not going to sit here and fucking try to resolve with somebody who doesn't want to resolve it, bro. You know what I mean? I just don't want to do that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, right, it's like... It's very childish to me, bro, that somebody would not want to resolve an issue and just stay quiet or stay like, stay quiet or like not like like, you know what I mean? Like especially over the internet. If I like came into your house or if I fucked your mom or some shit, I get it, bro. But over some internet shit, dude, like it's just so childish, bro. And I've resolved. The good thing about 2019, bro, as we wrap up this show, we're almost at 3 hour mark. Actually, we're about to 3 hours. Is I've wrapped up. I have squashed pretty much all of my drama this year. Any issue I have with anybody's been resolved, except for this one guy. But it's not really beef. It's more so just he doesn't want to talk to me. That's fine. I'll move on. But we're done, bro. Everything's good this year, and I'm happy that things are good. And as far as that goes, because having beef and drama and shit, it's not something that anybody really wants, bro. It's a waste of time and energy.
It's fucking
especially
boring,
energy.
Man. It's fucking boring.
Yeah,
because what happens?
It's boring. It's on the internet. It's people talking shit, typing. It's not like it's UFC where they're gonna fight it out. You know.
I always tell
unless
people,
we're like, Logan Paul.
I always tell people, like, if you want me to stop tweeting, stop streaming, and stuff like that, just come and try to snatch the phone out of my hand. That's it. But you talking shit, saying all these things, that's not gonna get me a quit. It's not fair to the people who genuinely like me and follow me.
Right.
It's stupid. It's not practical. And nobody's going to be like, oh, man, I built a following of 1 million people. Let me stop doing what I do now because a group of people don't like me. It's not how it works. It's, again, not practical. So, like, people need to just move on. And I'm glad that I know of there aren't any hate groups after me anymore. I think people have fucking finally moved on, stuff like that. But like then, like 2 years ago or some shit, it was just
a couple years ago.
Yeah, it was just annoying. It was just like, come on, man, go do something better with your day.
Yeah, it's 2020, man. So before we get out of here, bro, we're at the 3 hour mark, longest episode I've ever recorded. Any final thoughts, bro, before we close out?
I hope that people actually listen to what's being said and take advice for it, because I feel like a lot of things said is beneficial. They can learn a lot, and just know
and get to know us better as people, because we're human beings, brother.
Yeah, like just form your own interaction. Don't go based on what someone who has a vendetta against them has to say, because chances are if someone doesn't like me or him, they're not going to say anything good. And it makes that opinion biased. There's always two sides to every story. There's always another side to a story. And it's best to approach things with a neutral perspective. And hey, if you end up siding with that person, so be it. But at least you create your own opinion, your own interaction, and did your best for the benefit of the doubt. I think, if you think about it, people listening wouldn't want a group of people to not like you just because one person said they don't like you. Because there's a lot of people who will say whatever, and they will lie and say whatever that they can and do whatever they can to convince others not to like you, because it just makes them feel good that they can.
That happened to me this year, bro.
Yeah, like it makes them feel good, and then when it comes down to it, it's bullshit. I mean, and the truth always comes out. That's the good thing about it. Like, the truth always comes out. It's just some people choose to ignore it because it's easier. When you don't like someone, it's easier to believe the lies because it fuels your hate for that person or your
it gives you validation. Oh, I don't like that person, and here's the proof of it, even though there's evidence to prove otherwise. Yeah, and those people just, to me, bro, they can fucking fuck off, like, real shit. I hate to say it, but they can fuck off.
They're a lost cause, and I don't deal with those kind of people. You know what I mean? Like, there's people who have came up to me and they have apologized for hopping on bandwagons that were spreading shit that wasn't true about me. You know what I mean? Like, people were saying
at least they had self-awareness to apologize.
Yeah, bro, and those are the people that I always give opportunity of conversation, because to me it's like, okay, you're willing to be reasonable, and I'm willing to be reasonable too, and hopefully people can take that from this.
Go ahead and plug whatever you want to plug, bro.
Follow me on Pornhub. Pornhub.com/pornstar/platanos.
Go for it.
Follow me on MySpace.
Oh, great. MySpace.com/SaveTheBees. No, don't click that. Who knows where that's going to go.
And, yeah, that's pretty much it, man. No, I don't want to use your platform to promote myself, man.
No, go ahead. If you want to plug the Shakers, bro, plug the Shakers. Go for it.
The Shakers sold out in 3 hours, boy. They can't get that shit. That shit's gone. They missed out.
Well, you're going to release more, aren't you?
Maybe. I'll think about it.
I'm trying to get you to plug the Shakers, bro, and nothing.
Use code Hive on G Fuel. There you go. It's 30% off till the 26th. So there you go.
Code Hive until the day after Christmas.
So the day after Christmas
on G Fuel. This will be up way before then. So
yeah, and if you guys want to follow me, go ahead. That's cool. As long as you guys enjoy the podcast, that's all that matters to me.
Saving the bees. Hey, man, thank you so much for coming back. I wasn't expecting it to be this long, and if you ever want to come back again, let me know. We have good conversation on here, and it's always a good time, bro. It's always an interesting time, you know. I'm not afraid to bring you back multiple times. It's always good.
Hey,
this is a good show.
You invite me, I'll come. No homo.
Big pause on that, but thanks everybody for listening, and thank you again, and we'll talk to y'all next time. Happy New Year, because this is the last show of the year, and hopefully everybody will have a happy and safe New Year's weekend or week, whatever the fuck, and have Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever the hell you celebrate, Kwanzaa, fucking Snake Handlers Day, Boxing Day, whatever the fuck. I hope you all have a good one. I'm getting out of here now, bro. We'll talk to you later.